just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar. Make sure to like and subscribe, guys. It takes 2 seconds. It really does help the podcast. And also brought to you by Grumpy Coffee. Get to grumpycoffee.com.au. Get your coffee. I got my coffee here today. Beautiful. Oh, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. grumpycoffee.com.au. Anyway, Roo, how you going, mate?
I'm going well, mate. I'm doing better than some of us on the panel anyway.
Yeah, actually, I'll introduce my next guest, but before I do...
Yeah, safety first.
Now, he's coming absolutely fuming this morning. The great Timothy. How you going, mate?
Firstly, that helmet won't be enough, mate. My weekend can be defined by 3 key moments, Kempy. There was the back end of the week. I went in for a skin cancer checkup and I had something cut out of my neck. So that was a barrel of laughs.
Are you all good, though?
Imagine. I'm fine.
Okay, good.
Very dramatic and probably didn't need to happen, but here we are with a bandage on the neck. Moved into Saturday down in the capital, wholesome family weekend. Went and watched my brother play his local grand final for the Queanbeyan Roos. They were up by 8 with 8 minutes to go. 2 tries in the last 8 minutes, including a try in the last 30 seconds. They got done, so cost the mighty Queanbeyan Roos a historic 3-peat.
Lightning doesn't strike twice, though.
Yep. No, fortunately, we had an opportunity to make amends for this with the Raiders game on Sunday. Couldn't wait for it, excited, and we had that one 3 times, so that was great. But they gave up an 18-point lead. It was also, ironically, I think it was an 8-point lead with 8 minutes to go, and here we go again. That didn't pan out real well. So, mate, I'm shit, and if I sound bitter and angry today, I am, and you're just going to have to deal with it.
Oh, wow. Wow. I mean, that sounds like one of the all-time shit weekends.
Oh, yeah, it's right up there. Anyway.
Hammy, how was your weekend, mate?
Really good, really good. Great games to watch as a neutral. Look, the good thing is you've had a little bit of heartbreak, Timmy, but you have got that opportunity to make up for it in the Eliminator, which we'll get to in a minute. But,
At least my worries.
Wow, you have been, I mean, it's been a tough week for Timothy. It's been a tough week.
Yeah, but look, sometimes life throws a bit of adversity at you and you've got to turn up Monday morning and do your job, and here we are.
As Hammy always says, life has been clapping your cheeks this week.
It has, yeah. I have been clapped hard.
did I say that?
Oh, okay, no, sorry. Must be someone else, one of my other mates. Okay. Alrighty. Let's get into it. Let's face a bit of music brought to you by our friends over at Sportsbet. Massive thank you to Sportsbet as always. Give us a follow on the feed as well. Give Hammy a follow as well.
Please do. Yep.
Huge. I mean, finals footy. You want to get around it.
You do. My pick 9 didn't go very well. You had to pick all the games and your parts of the final. I was out after the first game. So, but if you're riding with me on Katoni Staggs, the leading try scorer in the finals at $41, you're still alive. Scored a beauty yesterday. Okay. And hopefully we'll have a couple more games.
I think mine got up, actually. Let me just check real quickly. Apologies for the delay, but I think my picks got up. Yes, they did. I went Melbourne Storm, Panthers head-to-head, Sharkies head-to-head, Broncos head-to-head. Thanks for coming.
And what was yours paying overall?
931, so just a baby one. Usually I go about $40, $50.
Yeah, well played.
Hey?
Well played.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
You could have got on if you were following me on the feed.
Get around him. Do we have to draw a diagram, people?
Yeah,
hopefully not by this point of the season. All right, so huge pointy end to face the music. We're getting to the point now. Obviously, Matty earned the week off by winning the minor premiership.
Oh, my God, bro.
So well done to Matty. Had the feet up.
Rabbitohs also earned the week off.
And then, of course, we had the qualifier between Rue.
And someone was up to his old dirty tricks again?
Well, we've got Rue and Kempy there in the qualifier.
Old dirty tricks. Didn't save him this time, though.
Yeah, well, didn't they?
Didn't see.
And then
okay, whoopsie. Whoopsie, might have gone too early there, whoopsie.
You got 2 bites of the cherry, of course, and then the Eliminator as well. Went right down to the wire as well. So let's get into it.
Hammy, was there an Eliminator this week? Or?
There was, and I was in it.
Okay.
So more on that coming up right now. All right, so the first game, Storm 26 defeat the Dogs 18. Myself and Kempy had the Storm minus 5.5. So he collected $1.90 there.
Easy.
Timmy and Matty had the Storm 1-12, $2.60 for them. Then we get into the try scorers. Kempy had Wishy, and he tried pretty hard to get out of that.
No. I stayed solid. I literally said, bench or starting, he will score. Get around me.
Okay, check the tapes. I don't know if that's exactly what you said verbatim. But anyway, well done. $4.10 in your back pocket.
Oh, my God. I just get it.
Maddie and myself had Ellie Katoa, $2.65 anytime.
Boring.
We'll take it. All right, so at the end of that first game, Denon's on $6, Rue's on $0. That's in the qualifier. In the Eliminator, Timmy $2.60, myself $4.55. So nice little lead there at the start of that one. Over the ditch, the Wars 8 defeated by the Panthers 24. Myself and Matty had the Wars minus 9.5, $1.90 for us. Kempy had them 13 plus the Panthers, that is, $2.18 for you.
Thank you.
And then in terms of a try scorer, Kempy and Timmy had Casey McLean anytime.
Oh my God.
$2.05.
He's a copycat from Ballarat though, so that doesn't count for him.
If it works, it works.
Yep.
Yeah, I do. Hey, you're right. Follow me.
So at the end of the second game, in the qualifier, Kempy, $10.23, Roo, $0.
God.
In the eliminator, Timmy, $6.55, myself, $6.45.
Wow. Uh-oh.
What an eliminator.
Uh-oh.
One of the great eliminators, this one. Then we go to the Sharks, 20, defeat the Chooks, 10. Only one of us leaned the way of the Sharks. That was Kempy. Had them 1 to 12
Oh my God.
for $3.10.
So good at this shit, bro.
All the rest of us leaned the way of the Chooks. Only one of us jagged a try scorer. That was myself. I had Marky Mark at $1.53. So we check the scores again. At the end of the third game, in the qualifier, Kempy, $13.38, Roo, $0.
I tell you what, you can tell the finals footy player here.
And then myself,
plays the full 80.
in the eliminator, Timmy, $6.55, myself, $7.98. We head to the last game of the round. Canberra, of course, 28, defeated by the Broncos, 29. Denon, you had the Broncos plus 2.5. Myself, Timmy and Matty had the Raiders by some sort of iteration. Guru had the game to go to Golden Point.
Dirty tricks. Dirty tricks.
Rude.
But it's $13. Is it $13?
Paying $15. So a little bit of a sweat coming up here.
Dirty tricks.
Try scorers. Some good form from the rest of the panel in the try scorer department. Timmy had Kayo Weeks, $2.55. Matty had Ethan Strange, $2.50. I had Reece Walsh, $2.15. And Kempy, you had Karapani, $2. So at the end of the round, the scores were
That is fucking
in the
rank.
qualifier,
That is fucking disgusting rugby league.
Denon, $17.28. Roo, $15.
Yes! Oh, I'm too good at this. He tried his dirty tricks. He tried his underhand. Typical Roo, but the footy gods, they said, not today, thank you very much. We're going to get our beloved son across the line. What a weekend of rugby league. Thanks for coming, baby. Whoa!
He actually
Tell him,
had
Hammy, for fuck's sake. Tell him.
he actually had Raiders 1 to 12. We just want to see.
Oh, no! I've been wrong.
No, you still win.
Oh, no, I win. Oh, no, I win. I win! You said tell him, Roo, so I was like, fuck, I thought you had some kind of sneaky thing up your sleeve because you're so underhanded and dirty.
No.
Oh, yes!
So Kempy,
It's a roller coaster.
$17.28. Roo, he saved a nudie run for the qualifier. $0 for Roo. So comprehensive shellacking. But that's the beauty of the qualifier. You get another bite of the cherry. Not the same story in the eliminator, unfortunately, where the loser goes home.
Bro, what a week for me. That's good, honest punting. That's, you know what? I didn't try dirty tactics. That's what you get when you dirty tactics. That's what happens to you. Guys, you follow the true, pure, and just a good punter, to be honest, finals footy.
Yeah, not a bad week, that. 17.28. Off only half the game as well. Well played.
Peaking very early.
Oh, mate, you're getting eliminated next week. What are you talking about?
In the eliminator, Timmy, $9.10. Myself, $10.31.
Yeah, they I don't know if you caught Ricky Stewart's press conference, but they asked him a question directly about this, and to read out the article on Coach Sport. Hammy got it 100% wrong with the final system, but we shouldn't make it about that. It was a wonderful game of elimination finals, Face the Music. Two very good punters. It was an unbelievable spectacle for Face the Music fans. So, look, we won't make it about the system. We'll just appreciate the battle it was.
Yeah. He's just furiously noting all this down.
I will say, at the start of the whole year, I was questioning the system, Timmy. You didn't want to go with me. That's what you get for not coming with me,
I
mate.
should have been on board.
Yeah, I was questioning the system.
Guys, this is a watertight final system. Face the Music. And to even question that at this point of the season, very disappointing.
Now, did Matty put his tips in or no?
Yeah, he did.
What
He walked
Matty
away
have?
$7.75, so he would have got towed up by myself.
Yep.
It was an eliminator.
So right now, I'm winning finals footy overall.
Yeah, but it's its own sort of competition. So
okay.
Finals week 3, you will play against Matty in the subsequent qualifier, and I will play Roo in the second eliminator.
And then, do I get another bite of the cherry after that?
No, it's all sudden death now.
What?
What? Shouldn't Matty play the lowest placed?
No.
What?
He got the week off to take on the winner of the qualifier, which I explained last week. Tight. And now I take on Rue, the loser of the qualifier.
So I get nothing for winning.
Losers go home.
I get nothing for winning.
You get to play in the...
But I came second.
The second qualifier.
We should be playing each other again.
Yeah, it should be happening. That's really disappointing.
You play Matty in the second qualifier. I play Rue in the second eliminator, and then we play.
But you came last. I came second, but we got to win the same amount of games.
Some would argue some would
Top
argue
five go through.
Some would argue the bloke that came last shouldn't have been in finals face the music. But look, here we are. So
that is unbelievable stuff.
I know, and it's edge of your seat stuff. You are entitled to a whole seat, but for face the music, you're only going to need the edge of it this season. We're going right down to the wire.
What? That's crazy. So I just it's like basically coming second means nothing.
You take on Matty in the qualifier.
That's worse.
In the prelim.
He's been the best punter.
This is prelim weekend.
No, but he's been the best punter.
I know, so you better bring your A game.
So he should get... No, but he should get the worst punter because he won.
That's not how the system works. If you produce what you produce this weekend, you got nothing to worry about.
What? That's crazy. You know what? Because technically if Matty wins, I win. That's why you're trying to make us play each other. I get it now. I understand. It's all corrupt.
Kempy, you have the power to overhaul this whole thing, mate. You know that.
No, you guys know me.
This is my segment.
That's outrageous
This is
stuff.
how it works.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. Okay.
That's the great thing about
Face. Bali, boys. I'll see you in a few weeks.
The great thing about Face the Music, it just drives so much passionate debate amongst the footy community.
That's outrageous stuff. Oh, God. $17 though on a 4-game. That might be a record, actually. $17 on a 4-game haul.
Yeah. Can you do it again?
Probably not. Probably not. But yeah, Rue, that's what you get, mate. Dirty tactics. That Golden Point dirty tactics. We've got to look into that Golden Point stuff. It's dirty tactics, mate. It's dirty tactics. But anyway, that's Face the Music.
I just want to be on the easy side of the bracket.
That'll be on my side now. So
So you've Penrith panted me.
Yes, I did.
You've Penrith panted me. Okay, I see what's happening here. Alrighty, that is the Face of Music brought to you by our friends over at Sportsbet. Look, let us know, is Hammy corrupt? No. I don't know. It just feels kind of like it. Has Timmy been hard done by? But we'll see. We'll see. Alrighty, guys. Thank you to Sportsbet. Give us a follow on the feed. Now it's time for Code Story of the Week. What do you got for this week, Mobsy?
Boys, I just want to weigh in on this a little bit. Hammy, I don't know if you've actually got your maths right on the top 5 system. Because week 1, Matty gets the week off.
Yeah.
Week 2, he plays the winner of the qualifier. So then the winner of that goes to the grand final.
Yep.
The loser of that plays the winner of the second eliminator, right? So you go 4 weeks in. So if you lose this week,
I'm out apparently. That's what I was saying.
No, you play the winner of the
That's what I said,
don't you?
That's what I said.
Yeah,
isn't that what happens?
That's actually a good point. A good pick up by Mobsy.
That's what I said. I said I guess you get a second bite of the cherry.
Hey, settle down before I take some points off. Yeah, that's what Mobsy just said is spot on.
What?
So the loser of your one will take on me or Rue. So many twists and turns in Face the Music.
Oh, that's outrageous stuff. I'm getting rolled left, right, and centre on this show. This is unbelievable. Thanks, Mobsy, picking that up, mate.
I think it's just proof that I'm very invested in this. Starting with the eliminator, and I know Are You OK Day was Thursday, but Timmy, are you okay?
Oh, mate.
No,
tough day.
I'm not. I'm not okay.
Oh my
I
God.
thought nothing else bad could happen to you this week, and then Hammy comes from the clouds in the eliminator, but...
I was driving home late last night back to Wollongong, and my phone from these idiots was just going bonkers. There's about 150 messages. I had to put on Do Not Disturb because it was annoying me. And then just as I get home, I could go to bed. I'll check what the boys are on about, obviously the result and that. And then I read the Face of Music result. And that was the final nail in the coffin for the weekend that I was gone from that. So, no, I'm not okay. Thank you for asking, Mobsy.
That's
I'm
nice, Mobsy.
here for you, pal. Here for
Yeah,
you.
appreciate it.
Story of the week. Well, given the Raiders, they're going to be a big story this week. We had a chat with Jamal Fogarty last week, and obviously there's a lot of ex-Titans in this final series, right? Checking out what's going on. So good little breeding ground there at the Gold Coast. But Jamal Fogarty, in a matter of weeks back in 2021, he went from captaining the Titans in a sudden death semi-final against the Roosters to being shown the door at the Gold Coast as they went in favour of their rising playmaker Toby Sexton. To tell the story best, I'll just quote Jamal on this. To be honest, I was pissed off at the process, how it all came about. We just lost the semi-final. Then I hear over the radio that I'm going to be moved on. We hadn't even had our end-of-season reviews. Then a couple of weeks later, I was having to relocate to Canberra. So Jamal Fogarty found out about his sacking at the Gold Coast by listening to one of the Gold Coast radio stations.
What?
Oh,
What?
Yeah.
After taking them to the first finals in like how long you reckon? Like maybe a decade? I don't know. It might be shorter.
Yeah.
The first finals in quite a while. What? Over the radio. Now, I read further into the article, and please confirm for me, he said that he never even got told person to person by the Titans?
No face-to-face. There wasn't told face-to-face. He learnt it over the radio. So, and he's... It's good. It's a good motivator. It's not a good situation. It's a good motivator to see what's driving him in this final series because he says moving to Canberra was the best thing that's happened to him to see what he's got, apart from what happened to him and Timmy on the weekend. But seeing what he's been able to do. But yeah, absolutely stunning just to see, the trials and tribulations what players go through and how they're dealt with. And, oh, God, if you're the Titans, you're looking at these players. You're looking at Toby Sexton come final series, Jamal Fogarty, and you're going, what are we doing?
Tanner Boyd playing for the Warriors.
Tanner Boyd.
Now I don't hang this on the Titans because he was a different player. But Hughes was at the club. He was at the club. Now, but I don't hang. But this is why I keep talking about. Yes, you can obviously hold the playing group accountable, absolutely, for how they're playing, how they're going. But that is, I'm trying to be polite here, but that is terrible administration. The guy that got you to a semi-final. Not only that, you may have mentioned this, he was the captain of the club. And you didn't even have a face-to-face conversation with him that you're moving him on. For a young guy coming through that he might have had 5 good games. How can you expect the playing group to have good results on the field when the administration, let's say the playing group is a D+ out of, then what would you give the administration then? When that's the environment that's being created where the captain of the club, the guy that just took you to a finals game, is getting found out on the radio that he's getting moved on. Then also, he never had a face-to-face conversation about himself being moved on.
Well, you couldn't believe how happy Ricky Stewart was to be able to get someone of Jamal's quality down there to the Raiders. At a club that has struggled to land big names, but good, solid, accomplished first grader who can come down and lead a team around the park with a great kicking game. It's been wonderful for them. But it's going to be tough to see what happens next season, Timmy, without your man Jamal there in the halves. Are you a little nervous?
Yeah, huge loss. And I think, the Raiders, they were in such a rebuilding phase. Not to say that Jamal couldn't be a part of that, but I think they've basically gone all in on youth and the young blokes, and Ethan Sanders is a part of that. And then because I think we're just, with the minor premiership, so far ahead of where we probably thought we'd be and where Ricky thought we'd be, they've gone, all right, Jamal's great now, but if we want to win a comp in 2-3 years' time, he's back end of his career, let's go with Ethan Sanders. And now, with the way this season's panned out, I think they've gone, shit, could use Jamal for another year or two. So, we spoke about at the start of the year, I wish he had another year or two with us, and I wish we just paid him and brought Ethan Sanders in a bit slower of a process, but it is what it is.
At the same time, though, start of the season, if I would have said, Strange on a kangaroo tour, you would have got laughed out of the room.
Yeah.
You would have said Kayo Weeks, dominating in finals, having great games, you would have got laughed out of the room. The track record of bringing these guys through has been incredible.
And I will say, I'm, at least me, I can't speak for you boys, but I'm always critical because I've been a player that if a club promises a young guy something, follow through with it. Ricky, it's very easy to say, yeah, we follow through, but Ricky Stewart has genuinely taken a minor premiership 7 and said because, and look, I don't know for sure where this is, but my assumption is Sanders was probably promised to start, not promised, but told he would start by 2026. I'm assuming. And so you've got to give the Raiders credit for sticking to their word, even though it's a minor premiership 7. And also, not even minor premiership, I still think they can win the comp this year. I still think, and he is willing to, that's how much his word means to him. He's willing to go, okay, it's going to hurt, it might hurt us massively, but I'm still going to keep my word to Sanders. Because that's the only thing that, for me, that makes sense as to why he would allow Fogarty to leave. It's because he probably has made certain agreements with certain people. Speaking of Kayo Weeks, great story in Code Sports, really cool story with Kayo Weeks, apologies.
Yeah, great kid, had a great season. Aspley Magpies Junior. Don't know if you knew this, but his grandfather Jeff Weeks played in that great St George team that won 11 straight premierships. So he was the 5'8" in 2 of those. And I've got to have a shout out to Kayo's dad, Chris. Back home at his grandmother's house down in the St George area, his old shoulder pads and boots from that
Sick
time.
photo.
They're still down there. The old man got in the car and drove him down to Canberra so we could get a photo of Kayo in the kit.
That's so good.
How cool.
And it's a sick photo too. It's so cool.
Unbelievable. But
Yeah.
just, hearing this story about, Jeff Weeks passed away in 2015 when Kayo was 13. So a few months later, he signed his first deal with an NRL club. It was Manly, went on to debut in 2022, but never got to see his grandson play NRL, obviously, but did get to see him a lot of the time coming through the juniors, coming through at Asquith there in the North Sydney area. And his dad was saying how there's this great photo of Jeff Weeks with the ball in one hand, sort of in the movement that he's got. And they've got almost an identical photo of Kayo when he was a kid.
No
and
way.
Sort of similar. And you can just actually see the DNA coming through.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's an amazing story about the family and the DNA that runs through them. And it's just another reason that I love this final series. I love the clubs that are involved. I love they're getting the access to these players to tell these stories, just, learning about what they're up to and heartbreaking for Weeks on the weekend because he couldn't do much more to lift the Raiders over the line. Right? He was terrific.
Outstanding. Kayo Weeks, I can't believe how good he's gotten. I really can't. But we'll get into it in the game. Got plenty of different stories as well. And just quickly on the Titans thing. So to my understanding, the Frizzels, who are part owners of the clubs, they are now have enough ownership where they get to basically make the decisions, and their, first priority is to sort out the administration. Is that fair?
Yeah. So you see what they're doing now. They're bringing in Scott Sattler in footy manager recruitment, footy manager role there. So
Scott Sattler, one of the smartest men in rugby league.
Yeah,
seriously.
Yeah. And they're, it's. I think it's really interesting how discreetly happy they are with the appointment. So that should tell you a lot that the people are quite excited about where they can go with that. So coaching is the next one. So, we'll see how they go there. Where do you think, what's your headspace in with the decision they made?
Oh, I like it. I think it's actually insane that out of all those three teams, they were the ones to land Hannay. Like, he was the most... and that should show you, I guess, how well they presented to him, the Frizzels, who are now the majority owners in the business of the Titans. I think it's I'm genuinely shocked that out of all three sides they got him. Like, I thought that there was no chance they were going to get him. So that's a great sign in regards to their ability to get people to the club.
And shows you a bit about the ownership, right? Because you've seen now the Knights have... the Knights have got, a three-way race. They're looking at, whether...
Changes every day.
Well, Dean Young's come from the clouds now. Where, Holbrook's had the interview and they go with Blake Green. So, there's... At least the Titans can now get on top and get moving with it. And we were talking about this off air about... The Gold Coast got such a rich area where, you've got Kebra Park and Palm Beach and... the other thing they need to do, and because of all the wrangling at Q Cup level, there's different. The feeder clubs are sort of split in different areas now. That Burleigh are now affiliated with the Broncos, right? So you almost be going and saying, hey, what can we do to make this? Let's solidify this Gold Coast area because there is so much talent that's emanated from the Gold Coast that why can't we get that behind and make us into an area? I don't think there's any reason that the Titans should not be a success given the breeding ground that's up there.
It's a very active area for young people too. Good weather, heaps of open fields. So I guess we'll see. Guys, go to codesports.com.au, use code BLOKE to get your big discount, and there's plenty other stories on there, guys, including some stories about Walsh, plenty other stories this week.
Yep, plenty. We've got a little yarn around what each of the finals coaches do to unwind. So I think Ricky Stewart's got a nice little pub there in Canberra that he goes to
And punches on?
Well, just likes to be quiet and not annoyed. So I'm not going to give up where it is because I think he's going to need a little bit of Fortress of Solitude this week, right?
Yeah.
Mate, thanks, Robbie, for joining us. Appreciate it. Go to codesports.com.au. Use your code for your discount. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, boys.
Well, alrighty, now it's time for Service of the Week. And look, there's a few things, there's so many different big moments in the game when it comes to halfbacks providing good service for their team. But for me, Service of the Week brought to you by Aspley Mazda and Luke Camilleri. Give them a message on Instagram, LDC_01 for an exclusive bloke deal, and you've got to message him and give him a follow. And also make sure to be giving him a follow because we've got some really exciting things coming up very soon, but you've got to be following him. The sale on the weekend was crazy, guys. Thank you to everyone that turned out. It was huge. But the Service of the Week, for me, it was Cleary's dropout. I cannot express how difficult it is to do a dropout where you're hitting with the outside of your boot to make it skim across the ground and go out to land it just like at the 12-metre mark. Like a lot of people, including me, when he kicked it, I was like, did he even drop that? Like, did that even hit the ground before he kicked it? That's how hard it is. And that's my service of the week. There was a couple other ones too, but that kick, like Cleary's getting to the point where he is truly like a grand master of kicking. Like he can hit it with any part of his all. You know when you watch some of the greatest ever soccer players, when they juggle the ball and you can tell that the weight of the ball, the feel of the ball is like second nature to them? Like Cleary's getting into those areas where the weight and the feel of the ball is like second nature to him.
Yeah, some of the stuff he's capable of doing is just unbelievable. And I think, I was listening to a NFL podcast last week and they were talking about one of the quarterbacks in the league, Lamar Jackson. They were saying it's so hard when you're playing Lamar Jackson because you have no one in your club that at training can replicate what he can actually do. And Nate's kicking game is getting into those sort of areas.
Crazy.
You can't really prepare for it properly because you just don't know where you're going to fucking get each week.
Well, you go back to week 1 of the season, he was kicking off the inside of his boot like this kind of like floater / little chip to tunnel. And it was landing in a spot where the fullback was never going to get to, the wingers. Just incredible stuff. And the 2 other times where I thought service of the week, as I said, you could go Walsh 40-20s. But I thought, mate, Trindle's first try assist, it's because of the noise of the weekend, it's going to get lost. And look, maybe I just think I thought it was incredible. Like they shoot out of the line, looks like he might have had to drop it. He somehow breaks that tackle, steps a couple blokes, then just somehow gets the ball to Mulatalo. I thought his 2 tries were absolutely outstanding, Trindle. So he's also service of the week, brought to you by Aspley Mazda, Luke Camilleri, LDC_01 on Instagram. Thoughts, mate, on Cleary and Trindle?
Yeah, the Cleary one, it was... There's nothing better than seeing sort of the greats and the best in our game, particularly halfbacks, the crafty men, the thinkers of it, reinvent the wheel. And I wonder how long he's had this in his arsenal. He's been thinking about it. He's gone, I'm just going to wait for week 1 finals because that's the time to bring it out and to catch them unsuspecting. And I'll always remember the first time Joey Johns pulled out the crossfield banana kick. And me, along with every other rugby league fan, just sat there and went, what just happened? Like, we've never seen this before. And not so we've never seen a bloke go low and hard at the sideline, but the execution of what he did was almost like a banana grubber as well at the sideline from Nathan Cleary. Just exceptional.
So good. Thoughts, mate, quickly?
Yeah, very, very clever from Nate Cleary. A big moment of the game too, when the game was kind of in the balance, so to whip it out then. So many times with his boot on the weekend and, just generally over the last couple of seasons, he can get him out of trouble with just big plays with his boot. So, plenty more of that coming up through the finals, you'd imagine.
Yep, absolutely. Alrighty, that is brought to you by Aspley Mazda, Luke Camilleri. If you need a car, doesn't matter where you are in the country, shoot him a message. He will point you in the right direction or he will help you out. Massive thank you to Luke Camilleri for partnering with the show. LDC_01, make sure to follow him, give him a message. Okay, it's time for the hungriest player. Now, look, this is a very hard selection this week because of how many good performances. But for me, it was Braden Trindle. Like, I don't think the Sharkies win that game without Braden Trindle. I thought he was phenomenal. It was one of the best NRL games I've seen Trindle play. And that's coming from a guy that I've been pretty critical of Trindle this year. I feel like, yes, you can point towards Hines and have some of those bad games, but I feel like because Hines is such a big name, sometimes Trindle can get it gets glossed over. I thought Trindle was absolutely phenomenal.
He played like a half on the weekend that just had no pressure on him. There was just no weight on his shoulders at all. I think it'll be a big talking point this weekend as well. Obviously, the Sharkies left edge against that Raiders right edge that really struggled yesterday. I think Trindle would be licking his lips at that one. Once again, no pressure on him. He can just play his natural game.
And what's good about this week, guys, there's no code because we have a huge announcement. Menulog is giving you a chance to win a trip to Las Vegas next year for the games. Menulog, they're giving you a chance to win a $15,000 trip to the season open next year. You place an order and unlock a game, and I actually played it last week. It's actually a mad game. Me and Chandler were playing it before Packer Up Boys. And Matty will put the footage up now so you can see it. It's actually quite a fun game. You play the game, and then you go into the draw just by playing the game to win the prize. So get on Menulog, place an order, and play the game. Plus, each week, they're also giving away hundreds of vouchers, guys. So massive thank you to Menulog for partnering with the show. And look, just order something, play the game for the chance to win a $15,000 trip. Doesn't get much better. Massive thank you as always to Menulog. All right, it's time for the team of the week. Team of the week brought to you by Grumpy Coffee. All righty, Reece Walsh at 1. At 2, Mark Nwanga Nitawase. At 3, Stags. 4, Burton. 5, To'o. 6, Trindle. 7, Pezzett. 8, Stefano. 9, Starling. 10, Haas. 11, Katoa from the Storm. 12, Hudson Young. Isaiah Yeo at 13. Morgan Smithies at 14. Rudolph at 15. AFB at 16, and Papali'i from the Panthers at 17. Okay, the Kayo Can't Miss. And we're going to go deeper into this, guys, because we're going to get to the games quickly. But the Kayo Can't Miss. It's a Broncos versus Raiders. We're going to go in deeper because there's so many big moments. But what a crazy week of finals. Next week, we have the Bulldogs v Panthers, the Raiders v Sharkies. You can watch NRL Final Series Week 2 live with no ad breaks in play on Kayo. And we are in the first week of finals for the NRLW as well. So watch that all live, no ad breaks in play as well. And Formula 1 hits the streets of Baku, where the walls are tight. And the stakes even tighter. Oscar and Lando continue their fight at the front as the champions battle heaps up. Tune in this weekend to watch every practice qualifying session and Azerbaijan Grand Prix, live on Vox Sports. Race is on 9 p.m. Sunday night, Australian Standard Time. It's spelt A-Z-E-R.
Azerbaijan.
Yeah.
Okay, Azerbaijan. There we go.
It's beautiful this time of year.
It is. The NBL season is finally back as the season tips off this Thursday with Tasmania Jack Jumpers. The Tasmania Jack Jumpers taking on Melbourne United. Watch every NBL game live with ESPN and available on Kayo. Okay. And again, we'll go through this quickly and then we get straight into the games, guys. So we've got more time on the games. But the SubDog, the Broncos are the SubDog comeback. Obviously, SubDog is bringing back the iconic SubDog after its massive success in 2022 and 2024. The SubDog is back in Australia and New Zealand. It gets better, though. Subway are not just bringing back the SubDog, but they're bringing back a full SubDog range, introducing 2 brand new, fully loaded, flavoured, packed builds. The barbecue bacon loaded SubDog and the Mexican loaded SubDog. But guys, this is for an extremely limited time. Do not miss this opportunity. Get into Subway as soon as you can try these new loaded SubDogs. Mate, I hope I'm not the only one that had a SubDog on the weekend because they were delicious. Rude, you get one?
Yeah, I got stuck into the Mexican one.
Ooh. Nice. Timmy, what are you, mate?
Mate, I tucked into the barbecue bacon loaded one and, mate, the game's changed.
Oh, it's a game changer. I had the barbecue bacon load on the weekend. Absolutely outstanding. What about you, mate? Any chance?
I'm a barbecue bacon loaded fan myself.
Yep.
I'm sure that made the loss go down a bit easier for you, Timmy, on the way home.
Jesus.
Fucking hell. Tough.
Cop that.
You beat him in an eliminator and you're giving him shit.
Yeah, take your pick of which loss will go down there.
I haven't even got to the game yet.
Alrighty, and that is the Broncos comeback. Incredible. Just like the SubDog comeback. No one saw it coming. We'll get deeper into it in the Broncos versus Raiders, but a massive thank you to Subway. Guys, these are so freaking nice. Okay, let's get into it. So, finals week 1, Storm, 26, the Doggies, 18. An incredible game, a lot of fallout from it. Guys getting injured. It was a great game of rugby league. Listen, strangely enough, once again, the Melbourne Storm, look, they stumbled over the finish line. They got the job done. That's all that matters. Are they playing as good as we know they can? No. Are they into a prelim? That is all that matters. What is it, like the 18th prelim or something like that for Craig Bellamy?
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. And they give themselves enough time to get Hughes back. That's the scary thing. So, as I said, they stumbled somehow, some way. They used the old Storm culture to get to this point in the season, which is going to give them a chance to have nearly a full-strength side, essentially, for a prelim. It's a scary prospect, but they did what they needed to do. The Bulldogs, a season that was already teetering on the edge of not going well towards the end. It feels like it's gone bad to worse. Look, I'm not counting them out fully, but so many things did go their way on the weekend. Root, how'd you see this one, mate?
Yeah, starting with the Storm, I still don't think the performance they'd be overly stoked with, as you sort of said. I think that's a scary thing that you're now looking at the Melbourne Storm going, okay, we've got 2 weeks to prepare. I think we'll see a much better product out of them in 2 weeks' time. But just some of the individual performers in this game, like Jonah Passett.
Where did that come from,
mate? I've been pretty vocal about it over the last few months that I think he's a little bit overhyped based on what we saw in that New South Wales under-19s game. But fuck, his kicking game in that one was unbelievable.
There's a difference.
I love that he went into that game and he's got Cam Munson next to him and he just grabbed the keys off Munson and said, no, I'll take control. You just do your thing. I thought he was incredible. He made that try-saving tackle on Matt Burton as well, which... I think it was in the first 15 minutes or so, but in hindsight, an enormous moment. And I just thought his kicking game, he just dictated terms the entire night.
The thing what I liked about Pez's performance as well is the next generation, older generation, and it happens with every single generation. The next one, it's soft, it's this, it's that, they're upstarts. But what you saw here is the positive of the next generation. The positive is okay, yes, can they be a bit big for their boots sometimes? True, but at the same time, they're not dropping their heads. They're not going into big games, not backing themselves. Whereas an argument back in the day, and it happened quite regularly, you get these rookies that were killing it. They get into first grade because they didn't have that cockiness or swagger. They'd almost get overawed by the moment. And what you saw with Pezzett is the good side of this next younger generation that says, no, I'm supposed to be here. I deserve to be here. It was the swagger. It was the belief in himself that helped him win that game.
He played with no fear whatsoever.
Literally none. Like, you would have thought he was just like a veteran in a finals game. Was that his first finals game starting?
Yeah. Sure, yeah.
And so, like...
Mate, it was 6 weeks ago. Bellamy was picking Wishart to start at 7 over him.
Most of us... I actually had Wishart to start over, I'm pretty sure.
So did I.
Yeah. And again, this is the positive of the next generation that, okay... Yeah, you get all that chat, and it happens in every single generation. Nothing is new. It happens till the end of time. It's going to happen. This is the positive, though, that they can come into games and own it like this. What do you reckon, Timmy?
Yeah, they just find a way, the Storm, don't they?
Oh,
and it's, as you said, like, they haven't been at their best for a while. They haven't been anywhere close to what we know they're capable of. But when their standards are as high as they are, sometimes the Melbourne Storm at 80%, or more often than not, I should say, is good enough. And once again, in this one it was. And as you boys mentioned, like, they now get a chance to have a breather, which I think a lot of these players in the Melbourne Storm who are carrying niggles need. You're going to get to that preliminary final, chance to be in another NRL grand final, and they get Joe Hughes back. They'll have Ryan Pappenhausen back. They'll be pretty well full strength, I think. And you mentioned Jonah Pezzett, but they've just, they lose the Dalian medal winning halfback, and they don't know if they're going to go with Pezzett or Tyron Wishart. Wishart, who came on off the bench, played about 20 minutes and scored essentially the match winner that got him back in front. It's an embarrassment of riches that they've got these two blokes waiting in the wings if the Australian 5'8" or the Kiwi number 7 go down.
I feel like, and look, I'm sure there are other organisations like maybe the All Blacks and some across in America and that, but it is so rare that an organisation's culture can be so good that it drags teams into into prelims. Like that, this whole season for the Storm has truly just been like their ability when things aren't going well to find ways to win. They just do it somehow, some way. Whereas like most 9 out of 10, league teams, if everything's not going their way, the season doesn't go their way. The Melbourne Storm are probably going to find themselves, now granted they've got to win a prelim, but they're probably going to find themselves in a grand final when, have they played a single game this whole year to their potential? I don't think they have.
Not recently. No.
Certainly not in a while.
Yeah, okay, maybe
I'm trying to
go early start of the year when they were belting teams, blowing off the park, potentially, like maybe the Warriors game or...
I think the other thing...
The Eels game and the Tigers game, they did, but that was all before
But that's Eels and Tigers, like, respectfully, but like, that's an Eels Resi side and a Tigers side that's won 3 spoons in a row at the time.
Stop living in the past, mate. Top 16.
For example, like, when they beat them, I'm sure we're all sitting here going, well, they're bottom 8 sides. Whereas, like, have they played a single game against a side we'd go, okay, that's a red-hot side? I don't think they've hit their potential
Going
yet.
through their result, not really.
Which is crazy. I feel like they're the only club, at least in Australian sport, that their culture is just getting them through all the way to a grand final.
I think as well on top of that, like, it's not just their culture of, like, it's the culture across 25 years of completely different squads.
Yeah.
The way, like,
couldn't be more different.
This side that they've got now, like, we would have had this exact same conversation 10 years ago.
Yeah.
No one's left there except Craig Bellamy, and they're still doing the same thing.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And look, I don't want to take. I still think they've played good footy. Like, I still think they've had games that have been 8 out of 10 and been super impressive. But a game where I've walked away and said, okay, that is them playing their best, essentially their best footy. Whereas some of the other teams, I've gone, okay, that's them at their best. The Melbourne Storm, it's just an amazing organisation. Like Craig Bellamy, and also like the selection to go, it's a finals game. I'm going to bring Pezzett in, even though I've had this decision for the last, like, multiple times this year, and a lot of the time I've gone Wishart, if not every single time. When he's had, the only other time I can think of is when he moved Munster to fullback and he had Pezzett and Wishart. Outside of that, he goes Wishart. For the finals game, he goes, nah, I believe in Pezzett.
He's done quite well, though, is he's covered his bases and he's kind of used some regular season games to just try stuff. So, yeah, he put Munster at fullback in case he's got to do that at some other point in the season just to see how it would fly. He also gave Pezzett that little taste then, so that probably made his job easier on the weekend, given that he's tested out a couple of these opportunities. So, they're very well prepared. And you're right, they haven't gone bang yet, but they're in a good position. They've got a week off. Players are going to come back, and they're back as the favourites, $3.10.
I got to say, as much as this game evolves and changes, and we get these crazy athletes in it or whatever, a good kicking game is timeless.
Yeah.
Just a good, solid kicking game, because you look across they had basically Galvin, Burton in the centre, so it was Galvin. Funnily enough, when Sexton came on, they looked a bit better, but the kicking game was one of the big differences. His kicking game was outstanding on the weekend.
I spoke to Harry Grant last week, and I mentioned to him about, at that point we didn't know who the half was going to be. I just said Jerome Hughes been out, and I thought Harry Grant's response was super interesting. He essentially said, "Oh, look, getting Hughesy back last week was a bonus. We prepared to win this comp without him, essentially."
Yeah, wow. Okay, that's interesting. That is super interesting. I will say as well, and we've talked about it before, but Melbourne and Penrith, the system is the star. Granted, I understand they've got stars in the system, but it's the system that's a star. And they slot a bloke in, he kills it. Mate, another guy I want to talk about, I'll be honest, I reckon I got before Origin, and I shouldn't have, because the Melbourne Storm usually take 2 years to get these guys to their best. I was going, I don't know if we're ever going to see Stefano kind of just fully reach his potential. Bro, he went into Origin camp, came out a different man.
17 runs, 152 metres, 53 post-contact, 14 fucking tackle breaks, 4 offloads, 34 tackles. Big one we spoke about all year. 0 missed.
Bro, that's Payne Haas areas.
Yep.
And as I said, I was kind of getting to the point, I just don't know if it's ever going to click for this young fella. I mean, I know he's a bit older now, he's 25 or so. He's still young for far forward. But has it clicked? My God.
14 tackle breaks against the best defensive side in the competition.
How ridiculous is it? We say before every Origin series when debutants, I know Stefano had played a brief stint before, but get thrown into Origin camp, and we always say how big an impact this is going to have on a player coming out of it. But there's also times, including Stefano, where you're like, is it though? Is it was he thrown in there falsely and shouldn't be in the camp? And it's just become a new player coming out of it.
I can't believe it. It's genuinely his mentality going in was, I get through my work, I'm a good solid forward, I'll probably play a lot of NRL. He came out to hyper-aggressive tackle breaker.
And then,
it's just crazy.
We've said time and time again, well, I certainly have, I think, the weakness in this Melbourne Storm outfit that is just full of superstars is their middles. I said, not including their edge back rollers who are stars, but their middles. With the form that Stefano's in, you sort of sit there and go, even now eventuates that if the Raiders can knock the Sharks off, they'll play the Storm. And I go, all right, I think we match up really well with them against our pack v pack and middles versus middles, and I think we do. But with the form that Stefano's showing, that little gap bridges quite significantly.
Yeah, and the thing is with Stefano, that his form is top tier front row form. You know what I mean? So the argument we've always had with the Storm, well not always, sorry, the last couple of years has been, do they have a top tier front rower? I mean, right now, form wise, they do have a top tier front rower, which is a scary prospect. Now, whispers and look, it's more just speculation rather than anything that's come out of the Melbourne Storm. But if they somehow, I don't know, Nelson does get moved on and they can get Tino to this side, bruh, what's going to happen? Scary stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think of Stefano, mate?
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. And, you're spot on. The start of his season was a little bit slow. A lot of, we're kind of sitting here going, is the penny ever going to drop? But as the year's gone on, unbelievable. He'd be in the probably top 2 or 3 front rows in the comp for the last 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Probably fair to say.
Yeah, he's been outstanding.
Yeah, he's leading that pack at the moment, which is, incredible. He's having a really good end to the year.
So the Melbourne Storm heading into prelim, we've kind of already spoken about it, but I assume we're all on the same page. If Hughes is 80%, you're just playing?
Yeah.
Even if he's 80%?
Yeah. As impressive as what Pizzette was the other day, I think if Hughesy is viable, you have to get him in
And the beauty is, you've got Tyrone Wishart on your bench regardless. You're covered. You're not changing your bench to cover for a potential Jerome Hughes injury. So if he goes off, you're like, mad, Tyrone Wishart, who just won us the match last week, comes on.
Yep. Yeah. Jeez. And I think as well, Hughes coming back where you basically say to him, mate, don't worry about it getting injured again or whatever. Just go all out. I think that's probably a different mentality than what he would have had in the last round of the season, where he's probably in the back of his head going, please don't get injured, please get injured. You know what I'm saying? It's a different mentality to head into a game. Well, what's crazy as well, that getting into that game, and granted, we'll get to the Dogs and the injuries that they had, but Nelson would be their highest play forward. He'd be their highest paid forward. Hughes, his next contract, I'd assume he'd be the highest paid. Oh, him and Harry, he'd be about $1 million. We'll say $1 million.
He just re-signed, so he'd be on.
He'd probably be the highest paid. And then Pappy, he'd be on about 700K or so. They were missing all those heading into that game, and we were still like, no, they'll be sweet. Like, think about all these other teams. If we said you're going to miss your mate, like Broncos are going to miss Payne Haas, Reno, and Walsh. Bro,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's insane. It's insane. Now, my boy Warbrick. Now, you guys were hammering Warbrick in the text. I couldn't believe all the negative stuff you were saying about Warbrick in the text. And I was sticking up for him the whole time in the group chat, like, guys, Warbrick's a gun. He's a gun. He's killing. What a game.
This is exactly how I felt.
Oh, I'll get the cat out of the bag, mate. I was like, Warbrick is having a Barry Crocker. What he's doing, he's been so bad. And then literally 2 seconds later, he bloody wins the game for him, essentially.
Yeah.
Just turns it on like that. I thought his second half was phenomenal. His second half was absolutely phenomenal.
He was having a bad game, though.
He was having a Barry, bro. Holy.
It was butterfingers for a while. He just could not hold on to the ball. But, hey, he delivered when it mattered.
Mate, crazy. He ended up running for nearly 300 metres, I think. So
Yeah. Yep.
294 metres. Like, again, going into a game where you're like, yeah, Xavier Coates, he'll be the big dog. No, he has a relatively solid game, but it's the other bloody winger that goes out and does it. It's just, bruh, how do they do this shit? How do they do this shit? Now, maybe I'm being too critical, but I did think, hold on to your jocks. Oh no! I did think Meany didn't have his best, and I do wonder, is the Meany selection a little bit too conservative instead of Alongo at the back? I'm not sure where I land on it, but I just think, like, is it too conservative?
I am a huge Sewer fan, but I would have gone with Meany.
You okay?
They're a unique team that they have so many superstars in their spine to create and do all the things that Fa'alongo would come in and do. Like, you know, you're not picking Fa'alongo for security and a good defender back there. And look, it's hard to say, but potentially a talker. I don't know what his talking's like behind the defensive line. It might be good, so probably hold off there. But I just think he did have a bad game, Meany, but in his opportunities at fullback in the back end of the season, and he's played a fair bit of fullback in his career, he's reliable. I think if you don't have Harry Grant there, you don't have Cameron Munster and these blokes, and it's most other teams, you go, all right, let's roll the dice and take that attacking upside of Fa'alongo, but they don't necessarily need points from a fullback. They need safety. And look, Meany probably didn't provide that in this game, but he's shown in the past that he's the more reliable fullback. So I like it.
What do you reckon? Did that shock you too much? Are you okay?
Yeah, it was a little bit
too critical.
Yeah, it's a little bit too critical for my personal taste. But no, I think the key point would have to be probably. And again, I don't know what Sue's talk is like, but you probably want someone who is aware of who's been playing a lot this year, where the defensive systems can kind of just guide the team around from the back there. More of a defensive selection than an attacking selection. They don't need any more weapons, I don't think, in their side to make sure that they win games. It's probably more about that organisation. That's where I reckon he probably came to with that selection.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can. I mean, look, with Hughes in the side, you've definitely got enough weapons there.
Yep.
You've definitely got enough weapons there. What do you reckon, Matty?
Yeah, I'm about to contradict myself because I want to say, well, Meany's been there this year. When Pabby's been out, Meany's been the fullback. And I think that's a fair point. But then you look at the halfback, every time Hughes has been out, Wishart's been the halfback, and then Pezza got picked, which actually shocked me. It worked perfectly, but no, I probably would have picked Wishart over Pezza. I definitely would also pick Meany for the same reason, but obviously that got proven wrong with Pezza having a good game. But yeah, Meany fullback for me, definitely.
Yep. Okay.
I think the other context that matters with Sewer as well is that he has played. Last time he played in first grade was round 17. He's played about 8 or 9 games this year, all on the wing. Matty's only he played the last round of the regular season in Queensland Cup at fullback. Before that, the game before that, he played fullback in Q Cup was round 12.
Yeah, okay.
He essentially played one game of fullback in 3 or 4 months there. So, I think it's more of a conversation in hindsight once Meany hasn't had a great game, but I think it was a no-brainer going into it.
Okay, fair. In regards to some other good performances, I feel like Katoa's getting into the areas where, he has a great game, but you're so used to it. You just go, yeah. He was outstanding on the weekend. There's an argument to be made that he's been the most consistent player this season, regardless of position. Now, or at least, and I said argument to be made, at least one of the most consistent players, because I can't remember the last time this season he had a bad game.
Well, when he scored that opening try, I remember sort of going into the game and just thinking, he's unbelievable, but he's also got the Dally M winning half on his inside in Jerome Hughes, and obviously not going to be there for this game. And how effective can he be without that? And how much of his brilliance comes down to the man inside him putting it on a platter for him? And then 3 minutes into this game, was it Munster that put him through, or was it who put him through for that try to kick it off? Pizzette put him through, and you're just like, it doesn't matter who it is. Like, Katoa's a freak with whoever's inside him.
Yeah. It's just, he's just improved so much.
Yeah, he's just all class.
And like those, running that line as a back row off your half, it's all about, timing in your relationship with your halfback and being in sync and all of that. And it doesn't come easily. It takes time to forge these combinations, and boom, straight off the bat.
Crazy. He's just so good. And he's so well-rounded. Like, usually with this guy, he's going to miss a few tackles here or there, but he'll make up for it because he'll score freaky tries. His defence has been unbelievable this year. He's just such a bloody good player. I thought Munster, defensively, there's still a bit of strange, he's not at his best defensively, but I thought energy-wise and just engagement with the game, he had 10 tackle breaks as well, which usually tackle breaks is a good measure of where Munster's at, because when he's on, he will break tackles. It doesn't matter how hard you try. I thought he was pretty solid.
It was classy down the short side, him and Harry Grant.
Yeah, not at his best defensively, which you pointed out last week, but also with Cam Munster, you just know he's going to deliver come these knockout finals and a prelim. And if they make a grand final, tackles that have been a bit poor and he's slipped off, the mindset's just going to switch for a knockout game in a GF where he won't miss those poor ones in the big. Not saying this wasn't a big game and not saying his defence was perfect, but he'll be fine in the big games.
I think so.
It's one of those, I know there's still a lot more water to go under the bridge, but geez, if Munster can take the Melbourne Storm to a premiership this year after what happened in Origin this year.
Bro.
It's one of the craziest seasons.
And then, if he wins an Ashes tour as well.
Yeah, he'll be there for that, without a doubt.
Mate, crazy. Because, even on this weekend, it won't get spoken about much, but Munster, 18 runs, 142 metres, 58 post-contact, 10 tackle breaks, 2 line break assists, an offload, 24 tackles, only 2 misses, good, couple errors, but I thought it was a good solid game. Definitely much better than last week. Definitely much better than last week. Outside of that, I thought Lioro, once again, his defence is just it's so crisp. Everything he does defensively is just 9 out of 10. Really, really just solid, good win for the Storm, and they find themselves in a prelim final. And look, them at full strength, because their full spine should be sweet. Should be Hughes, Grant, Munster, Pappy.
Oh dear.
Far out, bro. A week rest as well. They're looking red hot. And they haven't played their best footy, so we don't know what's going to happen in prelim. If they turn up and play their best footy, it could be a 13-pluser. That's how good that spine is.
Yes.
We've said it throughout the year as well with Melbourne, and I think we're still at that point realistically. As good as yesterday's game was between the Broncos and Rose, both conceded 30-odd points in that game. Still no one's really grabbing this competition.
Yeah.
Jeez, if Melbourne... as you just said, I think the stat was they've made 11 in a row prelim finals. They've come away from 2 comps from that. I think this is one they really wouldn't want to see get away.
Yeah. I mean, it's there for them.
It's there for them, and it's sort of, I know it sounds ridiculous, but when you're making 11 prelims in a row and you're walking away with 2 comps at the end, it's good. Don't get me wrong. But you probably would have expected they'd have more to show out of this. When you consider Roosters have won 3 in that period. Penrith won 4 in that period. Melbourne's been the most consistent at all of them by a distance. I'm not bringing down winning 2 comps. That's incredible. But for what they've got there,
well, they're lofty standards as well. They expect
to win a comp every single year. They've won 2 from the last 11 or so, and when you're at the prelim every single year, I think they probably would have expected to have more out of it.
Yeah, it's a great point. It's
it's insane, but it's 10 out of 11. Someone's going to correct you.
10 out of 11, yeah. Still, point still stands. I think you say you are...
Only 10 out of 11.
Fuck that guy.
That's, fuck. We see how hard rugby, NRL is. We see teams fall in and out of the 8 or whatever. And these guys just go, no, we'll make a prelim every single year, essentially. Okay, so look, really solid win. I will say, for me personally, in my personal opinion, Storm are the one team where I would go, them at their best beats everyone. Whereas all these other teams, I'd go, them at their best can beat most teams, but someone else could challenge them also at their best. I don't think anyone could challenge the Storm as it currently stands. Penrith Panthers are the outliers because we know the history. But them at their best, I don't know who goes near him. It goes near him, yeah, but I don't know who beats them at the best.
In saying that, if your mob, we'll get to them soon, if they put together 80 minutes of their best, I don't know who beat... I feel hyper confident Melbourne will do it before Brisbane.
Yeah.
Obviously, but... I mean, is it
Even
Penrith?
Raiders, I haven't seen them play 80 minutes of rugby league yet too, which is
No, it's.
interesting.
I'm with you. It's like it's at their absolute best. It's Penrith and the Storm, and that could obviously line up. And similar with Brisbane, but even like Brisbane were down by 18 yesterday, and it just took one of the most breathtaking 20 minutes of footy we've seen in Reece Walsh. Obviously, Nathan Cleary in the grand final a few years back, but Reece Walsh could not have done more in that 20 minutes.
Bro,
Like,
it's a joke.
everything had to go right, and
Yep.
we'll get to that shortly, but they were still down 18 in the semi-final.
And
Like,
they leaked, nearly 30 points as well.
And I mean, everything didn't go. He missed half his kicks
Yeah.
too. Like, it could have been
Yeah.
easier for him
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Okay, get to the doggies. So Serraldo was quite frustrated with some of the reffing in the post-match press conference. Now, interesting thing. So last week when the Storm played the Broncos, it was a 4-second average play the ball speed. Now you barely ever see that. Like that is crazy slow. Interesting though, because I saw Serraldo's frustration. Whatever. And look, are we all going to sit here and pretend that the Storm aren't the best in the ruck? Like, let's just be for real here. It does surprise me how many refs still, after 15 years of us knowing that the wrestle is in the game longer, how many refs still can't identify it when a player is clearly intentionally getting tangled up. I will say, though, interesting stat, the two best defensive sides, as in they kept their opposition to the slowest play of the ball, it was the Melbourne Storm kept the Doggies to 3.1 seconds over the weekend, and the Penrith Panthers kept the Warriors to 3.62. So 3.61 and 3.62. Melbourne and the Penrith Panthers were the best at slowing down the ruck for their opposition. So very, very interesting stat there. I understand. Okay, so let's go through the calls. The head high against King was just like, that's an outrageous call. Like, and that was, you know what that call was? We have become so jumpy as a game when there's a big hit or it even looks close to the neck, we just give the penalty straight away. We don't even stop to think about it. We just go boom straight away. There has been, and I'm not exaggerating. I reckon there's been 10 penalties given away this year where it's for a head high and they literally never got touched in the head. I reckon at least 10. So that was an outrageous call. The slowing of the ruck. Look. Everyone knows the Melbourne Storm are going to try and slow the ruck down. So I guess you've just got to kind of roll with it. I understand his frustration of we were the ones getting penalised for slowing the ruck down, but they were the ones slowing the ruck down more. I get that. But I would say, in the grand scheme of things, I felt like at the very least there was definitely like as much as Munster carried on and played it up, whatever, that was a hip drop. Like at least this year, that has been a hip drop all year long. I personally think, even the Burton one, I think that's been hip drop all year long. However, I don't want them caught. So I like the fact that the refs have let them go. But it was only a week ago that a star player was going to get 2 weeks for a way worse, like nowhere near as bad, hip drop. And so it's just the consistency that's becoming a bit bizarre. And so I understand Serraldo's frustration, but I think there were also some big calls that the Storm didn't get. So I feel like it's just one of those things.
Just on that as well, before we do get into it, mate, I was saying it to me before we started the show today, like some of the knock-on calls this week, I feel like that rule's completely changed overnight.
Like in goal, who was it that knocked it on? The Warriors. Talangi. Blaze Talangi.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it later. Like, because, bro, what are we talking about?
There was that one. I think that one's been a knock-on every day of the week. There was. I thought the Savage try that was scored that.
Kyle Weeks, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought that was a knock-on too. Yeah.
I think that's been a knock-on every day of the week. And, I think they're those ones that technically maybe they are backwards, but we've always said there's no control.
Yep.
That's a knock-on.
Yep.
I feel like it just completely changed this weekend.
Yeah. So, look, and I'm willing to cop the Fogarty one to a degree, even though that's, for me personally, it's been a knock-on forever. But the Blaze Talangi one, it's like not even with a video ref was that back.
Yeah.
Like, that is a mile forward every day of the week. So it's just a lack of consistency. What are your thoughts on the King situation? As I said, I thought that was a shocking call, and it's just evidence that we're jumping at shadows when it comes to these head highs.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I even, mate, as you just said, how we're so reactive to what goes on now. There was even a moment in your game yesterday where Corey Horsburgh shot out of the line. He missed, nothing happened. He sort of put a shot in. Fuck, even I had this little instant that went, he's lucky to get away with that.
Yeah.
And I sat there and went, get away with what?
Yeah.
I didn't fucking do anything.
That's where we're at as a game.
It looked kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
So
Yep, that's where we're at as a game, though. If you're trying to pull off a big hit, we all have been trained to think that's wrong. big hits are wrong. Big hits are literally basically the core of rugby league, at least one part of the core of rugby league. What do you think, Timmy?
Yeah, that's it. And like we sit here and you play down the instance throughout the year and the refereeing decisions. And it's like just don't impact finals games, don't impact finals games. We get to finals and you see a weekend of it and you go, well, this is when it matters, when everything's on the line for these teams and for them to dictate contests and impact games as much as they do. Yeah, I mean around the wrestling and the Storm, sort of a tough one because as you said, Kempy, they've been the best defensive side in the competition. Like around the ruck and the wrestle and that sort of stuff, I should say, and the nigglers for 15 years and the rest probably. So part of me says, all right, instead of whinging about it, teams catch up and match the best. Be as good at the wrestle and these niggling tactics because they're the masters. You have to be as good as them. But then another part of me is like, a club's frustrated that when they try and do that, they're getting penalised and the Storm getting away. That's where it's a tough one, right?
Yeah, well, I think Heine brought up a really good point that because everyone's a really good wrestler in the Melbourne Storm, it's this kind of you get used to that's the way they tackle. Whereas in other teams, because only a few people are good wrestlers, it gets pinged more because you're like, that looks a bit different.
Well, that's it. And like this, I don't know. Are the Storm still in the current game that much better wrestlers than everyone in the competition, or are they getting away with it when other teams aren't?
Maybe a mix of both. Bit of both. Because
they're very good. So.
Because they've done, we've spoken about this quite a few times, they've done studies about this where big teams like the Melbourne Storm, like the Penrith Panthers, get away with more 50 calls than the bottom tier sides.
Broncos?
We're battlers, mate. We get nothing. No, but yeah, like the big teams.
Thinking of you after having to walk 100 metres off that bus on the weekend, mate. I don't know how the boys do.
Dirty by you guys, making us walk.
I did forget about that, yeah.
Yeah, so
overcoming adversity.
Yeah, dirty. That's really poor stuff from the Raiders making us walk 100 metres, and I think it was actually only 50 metres. But look, we'll say 100. Next year it'll be 200 metres. But look, if you're being fair income, Walsh is going to get treated differently to a not as big player. Like the big players get treated differently. It happens in the NBA, blah, blah. Anyway, so what I do find interesting though, and maybe this is because they are just better, but the two best teams of the last say 6-7 years, they managed to keep their opposition to the slowest played balls for the weekend. That's interesting.
I'll tell you what I think is, I don't know if he's the best at it or he's the best at getting away with it. Harry Grant.
He gets tangled up every single tackle.
Every single fucking time.
Like every tackle, he's like, Paddy Carrigan's really good at it too. I can't believe I'm getting stuck. We're talking about guys that are designed, like literally in a lab designed to be explosive power athletes, and they can't pull their arm out of a little...
Mate, there was one that Harry Grant did. It was down the right hand. I can't remember who it was on, but he almost did 2 somersaults.
Mate. And that's where I look at the ref and I'm like, bro, listen, 10 years ago, I'll cop that you don't know what's going on. Like, I'm sure the refs do the courses. They must. But if they're not, they should all be doing wrestling. They should all be doing jiu-jitsu because then they'll be able to identify when someone's taking the piss and when someone's not. And I'm sure they do classes because it's such a big part of the game. Anyway, that out of the way, the doggies. Geez, there is so much to talk about with the doggies. So much to talk about. We'll talk about the selection heading into the game. Now, most people would say it was justified because he had Sexton on the bench. Obviously, the injury happens. He can bring him on. It's all good. Now, if you want to get into the detail of it, though, you could argue, did the Bulldogs look fatigued in the middle because they were missing an extra middle to be able to go with the Storm? I will say, or at least my opinion, him bringing Sexton onto the bench does seem like a little bit of an admission that maybe, and maybe it's not, this is just speculation, guys, that maybe he made too many changes too quickly.
Yeah, I didn't agree with the team that he picked, and I know it played out to their advantage the way that it happened and everything. But
to a degree, you know,
to a degree,
you can look at it two different ways.
I think it played out the best way it could have.
Yeah,
as far as the team that they picked, if you're trying to defend that, I just think like Satili Tupanua's he's been back for a week or two.
2 weeks, I think.
Harry Hayes is just back. He was in jersey 22. You've got Kurt Mann on the bench. I understand they see him as a forward, but he can cover positions as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I couldn't make sense of having Toby Sexton off the bench. And if you didn't pick him, well, in my opinion, they didn't pick him to come in and play in the halves if everything went to plan. Why not have a hooker there? Once again, why not just start Reid and have Bailey Hayward playing that role off the bench?
And also the admission here is that he's the third best. Reid Marnie is the third best hooker at the club at the moment. Now you could say, oh no, Sexton was picked because he can cover the halves, but I feel like Kurt Mann can cover that if he has to. And Bailey Hayward can obviously as well move through them. Now, granted, last week they did have an injury to Sherry, which pushed Burton out. But the problem I think they've created for themselves with the Sexton situation, they looked better with Sexton at 7, in my opinion. I thought they looked substantially better. Thoughts, boys?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I completely disagree with Sexton as the man on the bench there. I just don't think he was needed. I said it last week when Sherry went off and Burton goes to centre and the spine completely changes. All different things happened. I think it's ridiculous. However, they looked awesome when Sexton came on and Burton was at centre, and somehow, and it's a credit to the doggies, they made it work. And yeah, while I don't agree with the selections on what we saw when, it was Stephen Crichton went off and all these moves made, they looked really good. So, not that they won the game, but results were results. Into the eye test, they somehow made it work.
Yeah, I think the way that it panned out, to Rue's point, obviously you probably would rather not lose Stephen Crichton probably for the rest of the year. That's going to be very disruptive. But yeah, for the fact that they had Sexton on the bench, if you're going to get him on, I'm with you. I don't think there's much point rolling him on at hooker. Yeah, I think for this weekend you probably see Galvin 6, him 7. Burton in the centres, and that's probably the best makeup that they've got at the moment. They need to make a change at 7. It's not working at the moment, the way that they've done it the last couple of months. Yeah, Sexton's their best chance of getting a win moving forward.
Is that too disruptive, do you think? Putting Burton at centre?
Well, I just think they're desperate at the moment. I think that...
You're playing for your season. It's still a die.
Well, I guess we've got to ask ourselves, can they beat the Panthers with Galvin at 7, Burton at 6, Hayward at 9, Sexton at 17? Sorry, you go.
No, I was just going to say, I guess they've already disrupted their season once. Why not do it again? But, you're right. As soon as Sexton... The cruel irony is, Sexton came on, he was the chief playmaker.
And it proved, Galvin's a 6.
Yes.
Galvin is a 6. He's not a 7, in my opinion. I know he kicked the ball out once on the full guys. I get it. It's one error. You think of all the other good stuff he did.
Yeah.
Look, the problem they have now, they've got more questions than answers. Heading into this game, they have the most questions arguably out of any team in the competition because they have tinkered and changed and everything. Me personally, heading into this game, it would be Reid Marnie at 9, it would be Sexton at 7, it would be Galvin at 6, it would be Burton at centre, but obviously getting him involved as much as possible, and it would be Hayward either at 13 or 14.
So Johnson Sherry comes back in. Him and Crichton in the centres.
Crichton's out for the rest of the year.
Crichton's gone for you, sorry. Yeah, apologies.
Most likely the rest of the year. But
and is Tuala, is he going to be sweet to play this week, or he got injured with 20 minutes to go as well?
Maybe Wilson comes in, I guess.
Wilson will, as it stands, Wilson will probably come in.
What do you guys go? What's your starting spine / with Burton and that this week coming?
I'd probably play Kiraz at centre in place of Crichton. Sherry obviously comes back in. Oh, sorry. Crichton can... Kiraz can stay because Sherry comes back in. I'd play Burton 6, Galvin 7, Marnie 9, and I would not have Toby Sexton on the bench.
Okay.
So that's your ideal, what you would pick?
That's what I'd pick.
Yeah, right.
Not what I think I'd necessarily pick. That's what I'd do.
If I can make that many changes, I do the same. I think Reid should be starting. I would have Bailey Hayward on the bench. What I think they'll do, I think they'll play Burton at centre. I think they'll run with
Sexton at 7.
Sexton at 7.
See, I just look at it and I go, okay, so far this season with Galvin at 7, outside of maybe 1 or 2 games, it just hasn't seemed to click for him. And look, he's a 19-year-old that hasn't had a preseason, hasn't had any training with these people. So you can't just, I know the easy scapegoat is to just fully blame Galvin, but he's not the one selecting himself in those positions. I just think your best option is Sexton at 7, Galvin at 6. Even Galvin looked better at 6. He looked way more comfortable. Getting the ball on a bit. I think when Sexton came on, Galvin had a try assist because Sexton had led I'll just check really quick, apologies. He had led the kind of set around.
He was fantastic, Sexton. They look so
As soon as he came on, he scored.
Yeah.
And had a half line break off the scrum.
Yeah.
Mate, it's a tough one. I guess this is all the things that can go wrong when you make so many big changes to key positions late in the year.
I've got a question for you. Would you still move Burton to centre and keep those two as the halves if Crichton was playing this week?
No. But he has, and I think obviously we prefer Crichton there, but in a weird way it solves a problem for him.
I'm not so sure, I'm not so... you could move one of them to a wing potentially. Again, I'm not saying I would make that call, but I'm not as quick to say no as these words. Because I just think they're a better side if they are so keen on keeping Galvin in the side, I just think he's a 6, an out-and-out 6. And I think Sexton's a better 7. I think right now, they're running around without a 7. The most important.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
And if they went Sexton, I wouldn't be upset by any means. I feel they've made their bed. They sleep in it with the Galvin. They made the call.
Yeah.
I just think they stick with that. And I said I'd be happy with Marnie in, but I just think they stick with it.
Just also on this whole note, what a testament to Sexton. Everything he's been through this season.
Yeah.
Fuck, even when he would have seen his name on the sheet on Tuesday or the updated thing, he would have just gone, what the fuck is going on?
Hasn't he taken it like a boss?
Oh, just so well. And then for him to come in and play the way he did, like that's in Melbourne, against Melbourne, with all the injuries and everything they had stacked against him at the start of that game, for him to come on and do what he did, it's just a true testament to it. Like, he's going to the Catalans next year.
Yeah.
What a waste.
Oh, mate. I can't believe that no other NRL club picked him up. Maybe they did. They just didn't offer him. I'm not sure. All right, Bulldogs performance, though, boys. So kick-out situation happens. He goes off. Now, it looks like he has fractured his eye socket, but he's good to go, to my understanding. My understanding he's good to go this week.
Yes, it sounds like he is, yeah.
Critter looks like he's done for the season. Thoughts on the actual performance, though? I personally thought they were super brave. Like, super, super brave. They showed so much ticker. We got to remember, like, even at full strength, now granted, the Storm weren't at full strength, but let's just say they're both at full strength. If they went down and they lost 26-18 against the premiership favourites, a lot of people, like, that would be seen as a solid performance. To go down there, and I know, as I said, I know the Storm were missing some players, but to go down there and lose kick-out, lose Critter, with all the drama going on, I thought they showed tremendous heart, the doggies.
Yeah, I thought they were enormous. I think when you get games down there in Melbourne, finals games down there, you can tell in the first few minutes which teams have showed up that can actually win down there. And I thought Canterbury were one of those sides, for sure. I think that, obviously, the Stephen Crichton one was enormous. Kick-out threw them out early and whatnot. Even, like, they lost to Wala with 20 minutes to go as well. That threw them out as well.
Well, you've already lost 2 people as well.
And I think, like 26 points to 18 short. It was 20-18 with 2 minutes to go.
Well, it was...
they were up to their fucking eyeballs.
It was 4 tries to 3. Looking at it at the moment. Yeah, 4 tries to 3.
And, they had, they're trying to push the pass at the end that led to the last try. I did think that, and, he doesn't have many of these moments, but that kick that Kurt Mann put in, I think that's one they'll watch back on tape and just go, just pulled the wrong rein there.
At the wrong time. Like, you've got them under the pump. And, like, they went into half-time, 14-12 down. And I think they got to one point, so the lead changed 4 times. They got to one point, they were up by 4, I think, and they did like a short dropout or whatever. Like, I just think, just fucking hoof it. Just get it down the field. I understand the idea of, like, you have a chance of getting it back, but I feel like sometimes you just got to back your defence. Like, I don't know.
Especially when you're one of the few teams with the defence.
Yeah, like the best defence in the comp, statistically.
I'm short dropout 99 times out of 100. There are exceptions where you go just make them come back from their 50, but I think when you're, close enough to a 50-50 chance to get the ball back, put it this way, as we know, tackled the first tackle on the 30, second one on the 20, teams want to attack with a bit more space. They don't necessarily want to be attacking 10 metres out. So I think when there's a chance to get the ball back versus essentially giving it to them where they want it, not the first tackle, but I think you've got to go for it.
I just think that's a subjective thing. I've always been a big believer in kick long, send a message that we're willing to fucking defend D up. And let's say you land it on the 40. You can get them on the 40-metre line, and they've got to basically get... Yeah, I just think that I'm a big long dropout, especially if the game's close. I'm a big believer in dropping out. So, here's a good example. The Broncos Penrith grand final, when they kept kicking it short and they're up by... I just reckon when you're up by 4, kick long and fucking defend your dick off.
I'm taking a 50% chance of getting the ball back, and then, if they do get it, you still defend your dick off either way.
Well, what if like, you're also increasing the chance that they could tap it back and score, and you're all in fucking shambles because you're trying to catch the ball, your line's not set?
Yeah, well, I think your line's relatively set, and a tap back where the team receiving will score off the short drop-off, I know it happened in the grand final, it's extremely rare. Whereas you get the ball back, I don't know, 1 in 3 times maybe, maybe more. I think it's huge.
I mean, if I was a coach, if I'm up by 4, I'm definitely...
There is a time and place for the long one, don't get me wrong.
I'm going long as anything, and I'm saying, boys, let's just defend our absolute asses off. Were you going to say something, Matty, or no? Okay, sweet. In regards to some of the performances, boys, who did we think played well, did great, had a great game?
I thought Burton was fantastic. At 6, he went good. Almost scored that really important try at the start. But then I thought when he moved to centre, he was fantastic. He's probably a guy when I've been, talking to myself in my own head, trying to work out my Ashes squad. I mean, Burton's probably one that I leave out. But fuck, with the versatility and the kicking game he offers.
And the centre depth at the moment.
Centre, Turbo's already out. He won't be the last one. There'll be more that'll pull out if Burton's
Trell's
available. Is Trell out?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you'd be choosing the centres between Best and Staggs, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, fuck, I'm taking Birdo with me, for sure.
I think he's got to go overs for sure as well. I mean, I think he's just got to be part of the squad. He's that kind of guy. Unless I'm forgetting someone in the centres.
I mean, last time the Kangaroos played over there, he was a centre anyway, wasn't he?
Yeah, well. Even though he eventually played good, I think Kira's just in those finals games, I feel like just got to build yourself into that game. He ended up still playing really well. I think was it 2 silly offloads? At least one. There was at least one. I just reckon you've just got to find a way to build into it, and rather than first 20 minutes or 30, just offloading willy-nilly kind of thing.
Yeah. He's unbelievable at that late offloading contact from anywhere on the field.
Might be the best in the game.
But when it does go wrong, he looks like an idiot, doesn't he? But again, almost always it sticks. But I think there was 1 or 2 in this one year where it did turn over, and you just went, "Oh no, what are you doing?" But that's what he does. He gets the second phase play going for this side.
Fuck, he's brave. He didn't look 100% to me.
Nah, he didn't look 100%.
The amount
Still
of
killed it
work
though,
he
which
got
is
through
insane.
was crazy.
I think he had still 5 offloads. Still.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I think
250 metres or something.
Again, talking of starting teams, and no new information here. I've said it for a while, but I think the footy Kurt Mann's playing is too good. Not necessarily to be off the bench. I just think, and there's no knock on Jamin Salmon, but Kurt Mann's game time the last 6 weeks, 34 minutes, 17 minutes against the Sharks, 25 against the Panthers, 52 against the Storm. I don't know if there was injuries there or what happened, 28 and 35. So he's played 35 or less in 5 of the last 7. Some really minimal game times there. I'd just be starting him at lock.
And also, I understand the impact side of things, but when he's on, they look so much better. They look so much better.
Line speed's unreal. His ball playing's unreal. I think probably what he has that Salmon does, because Salmon's a decent ball player, sort of link man there as well. He's got good line speed, decent enough in contact, but Kurt Mann as a ball runner is better than Jamin Salmon. He just finds his front, gets in between defenders so well. He's a strong ball runner. I'll be starting Kurt Mann.
Another one, and look, missed tackles aren't everything. They aren't everything. Sometimes some of the most missed tackles are some of the best defensive team in the comp. I will say that 61 missed tackles. That's a lot of missed tackles.
Bailey Hayward, 15.
Yeah, it's a lot
15.
of that is. And as I said, you guys know on this podcast we're a big believer that not all missed tackles are the same, but that's a lot. That is a lot. And so
Even then, again, not saying Reid Marnie should have been on the bench, but and I know injuries impacted this. Bailey Hayward played 80 minutes in this at hooker. He's not played much hooker. He's been a bench utility option and played as a 13 in limited minutes. He's been asked to go 80 minutes at number 9.
15, I don't think I've ever seen that, 15.
That's where, once again, if you have to ask someone to go 80 minutes at 9,
It's Reid.
get me reading the fucking team.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to ask Bailey Hayward, how many games in his life has he played 80 minutes of 9? Because he didn't come through the grades as a 9, did he? He come through as a 6 or a 7.
7, yep.
In a finals week 1 game in Melbourne, 80 minutes at 9. Again, I know Matt Mabe was in the plans to have a spell and then injuries happened, but...
It's a tough ask, even with injuries and everything. It's the hardest position to friggin' play.
Huge ask.
50 tackles. So he made 51 tackles with 15 missed. Jesus. Anyway, okay. Before we move on, if they do lose next week, and we do the post-mortem, and obviously we're going to have a massive season review, guys. We'll go in depth there. Did all these changes jeopardise the Bulldogs season if they lose next week?
Yeah, without a doubt. It jeopardised this season, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Matty?
Apparently that was the risk they were happy to take, knowing that in the future, in the next couple of years, but you got to strike while they're on side, I reckon.
This season is going to be forever remembered if they go out in straight sets as the disruption season, I guess.
Okay. Now, there's a follow-up question. Are you sure it's going to be worth it next season?
I think it will be, personally. I've always been a huge Hayward fan. I think he'll get a lot of experience out of this. I still think Galvin will be very good. I think we need to see him with, as you said before, pre-season, see how he goes and all that sort of stuff. I think it will be worth it. I think what they showed in that game showed you just a lot about the character that they're building up.
Yeah, incredible. Incredible ticker.
I'm quite confident long term it will be. Yeah.
Okay.
Like you got to remember, I would say Lockie Galvin's 19 years old. I think he's going to be an absolute gun. You know, he probably ends up as a 6 for them, depending on what happens with Burton and Mitch Woods and whatnot. And ditto with Bailey Hayward. I think he's been thrown in the deep end with this hooking role late in the season. I think long term they'll be placed to win a comp in coming years. Rate it long term, short term, it's disrupted them.
Yeah, this season it has disrupted. All the ingredients are there for it to work. Few things still need to fall into place.
Yep.
I don't think it's an absolute layup, but they should be okay.
I'm not going to go as far as say like this is cost them a premiership. Like if Sexton was still halfback, if Sexton was halfback all year, I'd still have Storm and Broncos. So it's absolutely the long term play. Like Mitch Woods and Galvin together for the next 10 years is
Okay, next question.
mad.
Are you confident heading into the future?
Too big a pause. No.
I think it will work in the long term. However, I wonder whether next year it's still going to be a bit of growing pains, because this is my next question. Who's the number 7 next year? And I'm sure you're going to say Lockie Galvin. Do you all say Lockie Galvin's a 7 next year?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, probably. They're not going to rush Mitch Woods through, are they? No.
Is Lockie Galvin a 7?
No.
No, I don't think so.
No.
I don't, and I know they're different players, but like he's young. He's got some of the best minds in the game there in Gus Gould and Cameron Ciraldo. Jerome Hughes wasn't either. They turned him into one. You know, for years there were question marks around like who? Sean Johnson. There's been a few in the game that have just become some of the best. So look, at his age, they can mould him into one. But I just think he's a ball runner. But again, so is Jerome Hughes. So
I guess I'm alluding. Are they treading water until Mitch Wood is ready?
I think so.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
yes, that's right. And look, Mitch Woods is 19. He'll be 20 in May. If he comes out and brains the preseason, looks outstanding.
Yeah, he could be in there.
It could be him and Galvin in the halves, and Burton could be centre.
So Burton, Critter as your centres, which is fucking insane.
And
Sherry on the
probably
wing, maybe?
Sherry to the wing, which, like, if Mitch Woods comes out in the preseason, looks good, and just becomes they're out and out 7, gets around the park. Galvin is a ball running 6, which pushes Burton to centre. All of a sudden, you go, holy shit.
But
Or you
could
could
have-
get
they
Critter
could-
to fullback as
They
well.
could have done all this by keeping Sexton at 7 though, and that's the problem. Like you could, like Burton's still moving no matter what. Like
It's a good point. You're right. They could have done all this. Oh, but maybe they don't want to move Sherry and Critter.
Well, I don't think and I don't reckon the club believe that. Well, they don't believe that Sexton can take him to a premiership, because otherwise they would have held on to him at least as a backup. So
true.
Anyway, big questions. So look, we'll see what happens next week. Well, as I said, we've all said it, but I just thought they showed tremendous ticker and heart. And at least I've been critical of some of these selections, Ciraldo. I'm still in the Ciraldo camp. I think when you look at this team on paper, with the fact that they came 5th last year, 3rd this year, they're continuing to improve. Even on paper, like they're still not comparable to a lot of these top tier sides. On paper, like they've got Critter, who's the best in position, but outside of that, like they don't actually have that many players that are like top tier in their position.
I think they'll win a comp in the next 3 or 4 years, and we'll look back on it and go, what they gave up there was for what's happening right now.
The reason why I asked all those questions before, I was like, people that just assume next year they're a bit like, all right, well, we came 3rd next year, we're going to be 1st next year. It might be a little bit of a treading water year, where they finish in the top 4 or whatever and go okay, but it's the next year after that where they just go boom.
Well, even if it is the year after that, I think the other challenge is that, we love the look of Mitch Woods. We know Galvin's got the ability. Like, that'd be the youngest halves pairing to win a comp outside of Kez and
fair.
Foran. Well, that comes with its own challenges.
Keeping in mind, again, we've said it before, but I don't think the plan was ever for Galvin this year for the Doggies. They wanted him at the end of the contract, down the track. He came on the market now, and they had to pounce.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's fair. That's fair. Okay, on to the next game. Alrighty, Panthers, Warriors. And I tell you what, my Saturday was unbelievable. When I say I just sat there and gamed all day, I sat there and gamed all day long. Borderlands 4, got to download, obviously, thanks to Lontel. And I was streaming stuff in 4K, playing video games. I might have had about 20 different monitors going at one stage there, Roo. So Lontel got 1,000 messages about our story last week, guys. They've given us a discount. So they basically said, all right, because all those messages, what we'll do is use code Bloke, go to Lontel, LAUNTEL.net.au, go to residential, put in your address. The use code Bloke, first 7 days is free. And then you get $25 credit as well. And my gaming session on the weekend, absolutely brought to you by Lontel. Borderlands 4, boys. I know you're huge gamers. Borderlands 4. Look, it was crashing. Had some issues with the PC. It was crashing here and there. But actually, the people that I was playing with, so the Lontel crew, they sent me a file which uninstalls your graphic drivers completely, but then reinstalls your graphic drivers.
How did you not
didn't have that
reinstall
already?
your graphic drivers already?
No, that's the thing. I had them installed from the NVIDIA.
You call yourself a gamer.
You knew around here.
So I had them installed in the NVIDIA driver control panel, but this is underground stuff that I got sent. Stuff that you guys wouldn't know about, underground stuff. Anyway, installed them again. I had one or two crashes, but nowhere near the crashes I had. Anyway, Borderlands 2, it's fun as shit. And I can't wait to play it tonight.
Yeah, we'll have a team whip sometime, eh?
So listen, boys, we'll be playing Borderlands 4 in next week's show.
No, I do need to sort my internet out ahead of the Sheffield Shield season, though, because I like to three-screen that when it's going on, and this computer sounded like it was about to explode last year.
Okay,
so
well, there you go.
get that
Lontel.
sorted before October 3. I know we're all counting down.
We're all counting down. Lontel, get into them. Lontel.net.au, absolute legends. I literally was gaming with the Lontel crew all weekend. Great bunch of blokes. And Sheilas. Okay, Panthers defeat the Warriors 24-8. Speaking about this a little bit off air, like, did we learn that much in this game? Not really. What Panthers relatively clinical. Now, I will say this. I don't think this would have changed the results. I think that there were too many Warriors players that probably aren't ready for finals footy yet. You looked at some of those errors that they made, just like, that's just not finals footy. I will say, though, and this has come from a person that sometimes I feel like Warriors fans can complain at certain things a little too loudly. I think they have a fair case when it comes to this week, especially when you consider 2023, Reece Welsh throws an NFL pass, we score, and it kind of changes the dynamic of the game. This game, so Blaze Talangi knocks a ball on. Like, I just don't know how that possibly wasn't a knock-on. Like, I don't know. And then I was hearing the commentators like, oh, they got away with one there. That's not I got away with one there territory. That's an outrage territory. So that happens. Now they go up and score the next. That said, I'm pretty sure. Now I'm happy to say it wasn't a double movement. I felt like his momentum got him across the line. However, I can understand why there was conjecture around it. And then just to top it all off, that pass was so forward, so forward. This is coming from a bloke that I still think the Panthers would have won. But geez Louise. And also, I feel like we need to get a Kiwi in the commentating box when it comes to the New Zealand Warriors. Because, like, sometimes I just feel like they just, even from commentary, because we're Aussies and we're so biased towards our own team, and granted, there are some Aussies that aren't. There's some Aussies that are straight down the line. But sometimes I feel like, as a New Zealand fan, you must be sitting there going, geez, can we get some kind of bias towards us at some stage? So I did think they got dudded massively with some big calls.
Yeah, I thought the forward pass was very, very harsh. I thought it was pretty evident. I do think there's also the other side of it that, you know.
What was Watene Zelezniak in that doing?
Oh, how did the ball bounce twice?
Like,
when
didn't
the
you-
clearance kick out of your own 30, how does the ball bounce twice?
And just jogging towards it, like, oh, no, it's okay. It's a finals footy. The game's online. No. So I couldn't believe that's what I'm talking about in regards to the finals footy, like, big moments.
So those little things I just couldn't. But yeah, I thought, as I said earlier in the show, the knock-on off the kickoff was fucking ridiculous.
Like, outrageous
like,
stuff.
that rule has just changed this week.
And what's crazy, you can watch that a million times on a video. Like, that's a knock-on even with a video ref looking at it. What I couldn't understand about the forward pass one, if you're willing to go, things were happening at 1,000,000 miles an hour and the touchy wasn't fast enough to get there, even though the touchy was there. But the one that I can't understand with Blaze Talangi, like, immediately, as soon as it happens, you go, knock on. Immediately. It doesn't matter what angle you're looking at it, that's a knock on. And they just let it go. I don't get it.
Yeah, agreed on both fronts. And on the forward pass, I feel like a lot of the time, your first instinct when you see a forward pass is near enough the right one. And the second that was thrown, I'm assuming everyone was thinking, oh my God, that was so far forward.
Yep.
And it was.
It was. Craziness. Anyway. We're saying all that. Oh, Hammy, thoughts on it, mate?
Nothing more to add. They got on the wrong end of a few tough calls there for sure, the Warriors.
I still think the Penrith Panthers would have won, but it's got to be hard to swallow. This is another forward pass in another elimination game that you just go, geez Louise. Now, in regards to the game, for the Warriors' perspective, too many errors, like unforced errors in a finals game. Like, there was one where RTS, I'm pretty sure it was RTS, does this incredible, gets him down the short side. Pompey makes a line break, and I think the game was on the line, and he just drops it cold in a tackle. And you're just going, how can you expect to beat the Penrith Panthers when you just, like, situations like that? And then we spoke about it as well, but the fact that Chance and Wateni Zalesniak allowed that to bounce and showed zero urgency to sprint towards it. I just couldn't believe what I was watching.
Yeah, I think, look, there's so many positives to take out of this season for the Warriors. They're in a much better spot than I think we all thought they'd be in. Is that fair? When you consider,
mate,
like they're in an unbelievable spot.
You look at the season. It's any other Warriors side have what happened to them this season. They come like 14th.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah, completely agree. So there's a lot of positives to take about, but fuck, there is just a lot of lessons to come out of that game as well.
Jackson Ford was offside on a kick chase 5 minutes into the second half.
To Jackson Ford's credit, he made 40 tackles in the first half. No one even fucking spoke about it, which was outrageous.
Yeah, it was incredible. But like even,
but
bruh, he wasn't even a part of the tackle, but they got pinged for it.
Yeah,
because he was in the 10 metres. It's just like stuff like that. Like that's not finals level standard in my opinion.
It's incredible, isn't it? Like despite all these things, and I'm with you. Like Penrith looked comfortable for the most part of the game, but how quickly a finals game can turn. Like with 65 minutes to go, they were down by 4 points to the Warriors.
They're in it.
You know, look, Penrith probably looked, well, they did look like the better side and relatively comfortable, but and then it was the bounce of a ball, and that's rugby league that just turned the game on its head. The bounce of a ball and then a questionable forward pass. So credit to the Warriors because they made 16 errors. 16 errors against the Penrith Panthers in a finals game when Penrith completed over 80%. To be that close for that long is a credit to them. But, yeah.
On top of that as well, they had a 10-minute period where they lost their halfback and their hooker. Like in a finals game, that's enormous.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Like you cannot question the Warriors' bravery and toughness in this game. Like they came to play. It's just the, for example, when that Pompey drop ball happened, it was 18 minutes to go, and I'm pretty sure they were within a try of the Panthers at this stage.
Yeah.
The game was still on the line. But on the flip side, guess who makes the cover tackle on Pompey to force that error? Moses Leota and Lindsay Smith. The two front rowers are on the sideline chasing Pompey, and that's the difference. Like that's what makes Penrith great. Like even though they've won all these premierships, they got Moses Leota chasing down centres or wingers on the edge to force errors. That's finals footy style of rugby league, I
think you boys mentioned it last week, and I wasn't here, but you mentioned before, like should the Melbourne Storm have played Su'Afalonga at fullback? I think I would have played Torpiki at fullback in this game.
To shore up the defence in the front line?
Yeah, just go for a bit more upside. They did well against the Penrith Panthers, but I don't think they were ever going to out-Penrith them, realistically. I think they did have to take some swings in this game.
Yeah.
Is he their fullback next year?
Tuapiki?
Yep.
Oh, I'm still a big fan of Chance there. Tuapiki has been given chances when he's gone really well sometimes, and other times he hasn't gone great. I mean, what I will say is I don't think it's just a lock-in that Chance gets the jersey. I think that there's maybe like a 70-30 split of like if Tuapiki just like blows him out of the water in the preseason, there's a chance he could jag the jersey.
I think they'll go with Tuapiki at fullback.
Okay.
I think they'll make a change.
And they'll go Chance in the centres, do you think? Or?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. What do you reckon, Timmy?
I think Chance right now, I think Torpiki has to come out and have a big preseason and win it. Like he's hardly got a mortgage on it, and it could be Torpiki round one, but Torpiki has to have a big preseason and win that jersey off Chance, because I think at the moment it belongs to Chance.
What do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I mean, he's played there a bit this year and he's done pretty well. Tuapiki. I mean, yeah, you could go either. It just depends, if they can find another spot for Nickel Cook stuck in the centres. Obviously, they got caught short a little bit there this weekend. Has to have a couple of guys fill in, but look, I don't feel super strongly one way or the other. But in the next couple of years, he'll take that number one jersey for sure.
But yeah, the Warriors, I think they've been super brave. It's just about getting into these. And look, granted, they were missing some key players and key positions, so you have to make sure that's aware of it. I like their bravery. I like their toughness. It's just about. There's no way you can go into a finals game having 16 errors against the reigning premiers, who are known for their conservative style of rugby league. And so they've just got to clean that up a little bit. Just got to clean that up. And then you add on 16 errors plus a bunch of tough calls against you. You're never going to come out and win that game against the Penny Panthers. But a credit to them, 60 minutes in, you're going down by 4. It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Yeah, I think as well, the reality, I reckon you could count on one hand the amount of bottom 4 teams that you'd actually back to beat the Penrith Panthers the other day.
Realistically. In their last 10 weeks, they've essentially been a bottom. Like, their last 8 games, I think they've only won 1, the Warriors.
Oh, sorry. I just mean top four of
top
bottom
four
four
of the
and
bottom
top
eight.
eight. Like
Yeah, okay.
Those. I don't think there'd be too many 5, 6, 7, 8 teams from the last 10 years. You'd actually back into beat Penrith in that game.
And I think as well, to your point, like a lot of people thought it was just going to be, they were going to get blown out of the water immediately. But it wasn't that at all. Like they hung in there.
Yeah, team selections, boys, at the Warriors with Kurt Capewell and Lakalasima, Leka playing wide, sort of out at centre there. And Kurt Capewell, he's been great this year. He came out with 2 Barrys for tries, which, proved pretty detrimental to them. There was the one on Schneider from marker, and then there's the other one on Isaiah Papali'i, which he wasn't alone in, but just 2 absolute shockers. And Leka, who I don't think had played centre all year, Capewell had spent a heap of time there. And look, in hindsight, it's not to say that Capewell would have been any better at centre because he actually had some poor defensive reads in his regular back row position, but I was just surprised they went Leka, who's played back row all year, and then Capewell, who spent so much time, and they went the other way around. And, I mean, Leka scored an awesome try late on, but weird to me.
Very, very strange. The fact that they would move Leka there instead of Capewell when he's done it so many times. Even in Origin he's done
But
it.
this game, why?
Maybe that was their way of having a swing.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think
Yeah.
of. I don't agree with it still, but
Get Leka running really wide and just have a throw at the stumps and see if he can just destroy him. He did once.
he did once, yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought there was a few other times where I would have loved to have just seen Leka run. Don't fuck,
Just
ball
run.
under the
Yeah,
arm,
it was some
just-
early passes that he did there.
Yeah, just run,
Thought too
run.
much. Maybe it's a perspective of they're looking at Kurt Capewell and his communication is one of his strongest points. And they're going, listen, if we've got Leka at 4, that edge is going to be very questionable. If we've got Capewell at 4 to be able to communicate to them, maybe that's the way they looked at it. Potentially.
Don't know.
Okay, now onto the Penny Panthers. Oh, I thought the battle between Leota and Fish was just like,
It was
rough.
good. Box office.
Yeah.
That's box office stuff.
I gotta say with Fish as well, 43 tackles,
0 misses, I was about to say. Just like, I have seen some people like quite critical of Fish, Warriors fans, and I'm just going, do you guys look how far you've come as a club? Like, that isn't an accident. Like, Fish has an impact on that culture to be able to do that. You got to remember as well, like, the Warriors weren't locked into the finals for year on year out. You didn't even make the finals last year.
Yeah.
Like, Fish has been your marquee signing, and he's the culture this bring, plus also what Webster's done, plus what Barnett's done, and whatever, has dragged you into 1 or 2 games away from a top 4 finish. And if you stay injury-free, relatively injury-free, because I think they had the 3rd most amount of injuries this year, you do make the top 4. Like, I don't know how you could possibly be critical of Fish for where the club's at right now.
You lost Tohu Harris, AFB, and Dylan Walker. I'd argue your 3 best forwards last year. You replaced them with one dude.
Yeah. And
Did you miss them throughout this season?
you came, what,
Genuinely.
13th, 14th last year. What did they come last year? Like,
Yeah, down the bottom, 11, 12, something like that.
so anyway, so I just think
Leota smoking Fish off the kick-off.
great stuff.
Iconic.
And then them pushing and shoving.
How good was
You're just
that?
going, they're like, literally might be a nuclear explosion down in New
Yeah.
Zealand. But what I love about that is like, that's a sign of respect for each other. Like that, if they were to try to go soft on each other as mates, like that's almost like, what, you think I can't cop you going hard? Like, what's going in here? Like, so
One
just
last
great stuff.
one before we move on from him, and we don't have to spend too much time on it. But the Warriors used 6 interchanges.
Bro, I don't want to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it. You know why they use 6 interchanges?
Why?
Let's just say some head
All the head
knocks
knocks, yeah.
were
Yeah. But
debatable.
even on that, and like there was, I think it had 2 HIAs in the game, which influenced it and meant that they didn't have to use all 8. And I get the keeping your best players on the field for as long as you can, and the HIAs aided that. But a game of this intensity against the most relentless team we've seen in a long time, the Panthers, and yet you're 2 subs short. And look, maybe the HIAs were enough for them, but I just don't understand. And teams do it more often than not. Like even the Panthers, they use 7, so they had one up the sleeve as well. But with the intensity of the game these days, especially a finals game, I just thought teams would use 8 all the time. And honestly, the amount of NRL teams that do it and coaches, it makes me think that, all right, there's something in this and you don't necessarily have to use all 8, especially when you can utilise the HIA sort of situation. But I don't understand it.
I've got to say, there are clubs playing with fire, like fire, with this whole, I made a tackle, I hurt my shoulder. Okay, HIA. Like, it's just not good, man. Like, I understand win at any cost, not that cost. Because that's the problem with that is it's not just a cost to the club, it's going to be a cost to the game. It's like all these other areas where you cut corners, it's only the club that's going to get punished. You cut corners in this area, it will cost the game dramatic, like huge anyway. So I won't go into detail, but, you go back and watch it and look at those HIAs and you tell me, what's going on there.
Just so we move off the Warriors, as I mentioned, Ford made 40 tackles in the first half. I was down in Berry last week, and there was a family walking through, and they had a young bloke with them who was in Louis Brown's Dear Warriors.
Oh,
jersey.
Great jersey,
Anyway,
great jersey.
I got talking to the old man about it. Anyway, turned out it was Jackson Ford's nephew.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
How
small
good.
world.
How good, mate. He still has the error hero there, but his work rate this year has been almost second to none.
Mate, error here and there, I can wear that with Jackson Ford, the amount of work he gets through. When it's 3 or 4 errors, which we've seen previously, when he's playing like that.
Well, it's funny, like, back in the day, he would have an error hero there, but he wouldn't run for fucking 180 metres and make 50 tackles. When you're making 61 tackles running for, 100 metres or whatever it was on the weekend, I'll just check. Yeah, so 82 metres, 61 tackles. Oh, my God.
Mate, like when they get back to full strength next year and you've got Barnett and Fish playing your 50, 60 minutes and he's a 30, 40-minute guy.
Just go in.
Perfect.
Yep.
Just got the most random drive-by from Josh Clutterbuck. Bloody brilliant beers. Out of nowhere, unprompted. Mate, I'm sure you don't need to hear it from me, sent in 3 different messages, but this week at training, just remember to practice not attacking the kicker's leg.
Oh, wow.
Clutch.
Wow, Clutzy's come in clutch.
From the
Wait till
top
he,
4 Caxton.
Wait till he hears about the Eliminator.
Oh, wow, you'll be in here then.
Jeez. I knew it was going to be tough today, but that was not warranted. Anyway,
Okay.
where were
Now, on to the Penrith Panthers. Clinical did what they needed to do, for sure. I thought the Moses Leota battle with Fish was outstanding. They won all the stats they needed to win. They ran for about 500 more metres, 83% completion, which is solid for a finals game. Had the ball 6 more minutes. Funnily enough, equal line breaks, but they won post-contact. They won tackle breaks. They had a more average set distance, more kick return metres, and they had a quicker play the ball speed. So the ingredients are all there. Do they look like the Penrith Panthers that we know roaring into finals footy? Probably not. However, I would not want to be playing them because they just know how to play finals footy. Like, it is ingrained in them. Okay, flip a switch. This is finals footy. And so that's the scary thing. We've watched teams, some of the favourites to win the comp, like having 16 errors in a finals game kind of thing. So that's the scary thing. Some big moments for me. The Moses Leota one, so in the first 20 minutes, Moses Leota, he had the most metres of any player on the field. And I implored people last week, if you get a chance, just watch Moses Leota closely and you'll realise their entire game plan basically hinges on him winning that initial battle through the middle. But then to play the way he played in this game against his brother in Fish, it was just outstanding. Now, I'd go through his stats here because you can even look at his stats and you're still not going to see exactly. But he ran for 100 metres essentially, 29 tackles, only 1 miss. But it's the quality of his work. If you go back and watch it, and that inside play on Pompey, who drops the ball with him and Lindsay Smith, that's game match winning plays. But then also, Alamotti gets brought back in, huge call, and what happens? They kick it deep, and it looks like it's going to be him taking the ball out for all money. Somehow, some way, he throws the ball back into the in goal. And then somehow, some way, gets out of the in goal, and that's when they go on to score a try in that next set. Those 2 plays, that's finals footy rugby league. They are big moments won by a Penrith Panthers play. And I thought Alamotti, especially in that situation, it was unbelievable what he achieved with that.
Yeah, I was going to point out that play. Obviously a very big call, dropping Jenkins from the side, but I think, it comes down to finals experience, and I think that's what Ivan would have been thinking in that moment, that he knows Alamotti's been there, done a job. I thought he was probably 3rd or 4th in line to win a Clive Churchill medal last year. He's incredible in that grand final. And once again, I think when you get to this time of the year, if Ivan's making a call like that, I think you just got to back him.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, runs on the board.
Yeah.
Look at Hoskins a couple of years ago as well.
Yep.
Mate, but yeah, that play from Alamotti. There was also one from Dylan Edwards, I think, where he was sliding out. And he's that's where I look at the Warriors and I go, geez, you're a couple of big finals plays away from maybe changing the momentum of the game. But again, it was just the Penrith Panthers essentially have at least 10 to 12 players that know how to make big plays in finals footy.
Yeah. I know Guru disagrees. I thought Tommy Jenkins was hard done by. And
I'm with you.
And just let me emphasise.
Sorry, I don't think he wasn't hard done by, but I think it was the right call.
Yeah, okay. I just thought, Alamotti was dropped essentially from about round 12 for whatever reason I haven't found in it. And Tommy Jenkins was given the chance sort of, around about that time of the year. And I just thought he'd been exceptional since. And, you lean on Alamotti, finals experience and all that. And I'm like, well, they knew Alamotti had finals experience since last final series. So I just found I know he came in and played the last 2 games of the year because Toto was injured and they had the mass resting, so he got opportunities. But for a long time there, he was, the reserve, the backup choice on the wing. And I just thought Tommy Jenkins did nothing wrong to get dropped. In terms of results and how it pans out through finals, I don't think it'll make a difference because Alamotti's a gun as well, and they're just blessed with all these outside backs options. But yeah, I thought he was hard done by.
Yeah, I'm with you in regards to I thought he was. I would have gone with Jenkins, but I can also I agree with Rue in the sense that I haven't done this before, and you just got to. He's seeing something that we're not seeing, I guess.
I'm curious as to what he saw in those final. So Alamotti didn't play from round 21 to round 25. I'm curious to know what Ivan saw in those 2 weeks from either Alamotti or from Jenkins that goes, all right, after making that big call after round 12, I'm changing it now. The timing just seems
maybe it's a big play thing. He feels like he needs some big plays.
Yeah,
Finals experience is another one, potentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, that play from Alamotti was absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. In regard to, I thought Lyoto was just outstanding. I really did. He's never going to win the stat battle. He's not going to have a 200 metres or whatever. But, geez, he's got a job that's very specific, and he does it as good as anyone. Unbelievable stuff. Who stood out for you, mate, in the Penrith Panthers?
I was just having a look at Tom Jenkins. They're very stiff. Won 2 awards at their awards night the other day. Same week that he gets dropped for the final.
Was one from Coach's Award?
No, members.
Wow, that's not nice, mate.
Members Award. So they chose that, and then it was an award for courage and bravery, which maybe was to do with the how he dealt with the axing. Anyway, look, they were all, they did what they had to do. Obviously, the Penrith Panthers. I thought. Now I know sometimes we go, he just gets lost in the noise of how good he is every week, but I thought this was one of Brian Toto's best games in the last little while. Obviously, he's looked a little bit. Still doing what he's got to do, but battered and bruised, and as he should be.
2 weeks off, I reckon, was massive.
Freshen him up. But he was everywhere. I thought, obviously, the 245 run meters, 65 post contacts. Obviously got the try as well.
Try assist as well.
Yeah, try assist. He was just immense, and that just goes back to some of that finals experience and stuff you were talking about before. But I thought he was very impressive.
In regards to some other boys, I thought Lindsay Smith got through his work really well. I thought Liam Martin, I thought he was quite strong.
Yep.
I thought Isaiah was good. The good thing is they look relatively fresh this side. They don't look, beaten up, bruised. I will say, though, chinks in the armour. Blaze Talangi, I'm pretty sure the 2 line breaks that the Warriors had in the first 60 or so minutes were on either Blaze or Casey.
They were both through Blaze.
Yeah, and so... we talk about finals experience, and granted, we all agree on this panel, Blaze Talangi he has improved out of sight. However, if I'm doing a game plan, I'm looking towards Blaze, and does he have the talent to be able to bounce back in a week's time and kill it? Absolutely. He's one of the most talented young players in the comp, but there is a bit of questions there for sure.
Well, in the past 4 or 5 years with Penrith, there hasn't really been a weak link in their team. Where do we attack? And, maybe it's at times Isaac Tungo's had his issue and they've gone there, but then Isaac Tungo gets the finals ball and turns into a superstar. It writes itself, the game plan. The blueprint for them now is just hard running back rower, Blaze Talangi and say, what do you got, mate? Because he let Tanner Boyd through at one point, and then he let a try through, I think it might have been later on as well. And try, it might have been one for when Dylan Edwards had a cover tackle, but a few of them, yeah.
So who will he get this week? Jacob Preston? Right edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sorrello is some of the best planner in the competition. It'll be super interesting what happens there. It's going to be, I guess, watch early in the game, where do they go? Because, we even said before the Warriors game, I'll be going at Blaze just to see where his head's at, we all kind of said that last week. I'm just trying to think. Now, I will say a few drops from their outside backs too. Alamotti dropped an early one. Edwards again dropped an early one, but then back into the game. What's going on there? My man Edwards, the safest man, he's safe as a bank.
Rattled.
And he's just... And it's not errors early. I don't care about errors early in the game with Dylan Edwards because he's going to turn around and play. But these have been nearly 3 weeks in a row where an important part of the game and he's made an error.
Yeah, you can't ignore it.
You have to...
Like I said before, if you're picking your Kangaroos squad, does he make the squad?
I don't think so
I don't think he does at the moment. I think I think you can possibly leave Reece Walsh out. He's the hottest hand in the league right now. Teddy's going to win the Dally M. I don't know if you can leave him out. Like, obviously, if Edwards, they go on to win a comp or they're playing a grand final, it might change a little bit. But right now, I don't think you could pick him.
Look, I back Edwards to sort it out, but Jesus, it's been so strange to watch. We've had essentially 5 years of him being the safest fullback in the competition. And is it fatigue? He still looks energetic. I don't know what it is.
Potentially playing busted or something. I don't know. But I mean, busted also shouldn't necessarily lead to drop balls. And like a lot of there's been drop balls not in sort of when there hasn't been a challenge on him. It's like, which
Very
is
strange.
so uncharacteristic.
Very strange. And so, you've got Edwards at the back there. You've got Blaze Talangi there that's a rookie. Casey McLean was solid. Didn't set the world light, but he was solid. So there are points of contention, I guess. Whereas I feel like heading into a lot of these final series, like you looked at that roster and you're like, who do you run at? Like really, it's a tough one.
Isaiah Papali'i was unbelievable.
Mate. How good's he been in the back end of this
He
year?
had 182 metres in 39 minutes off the bench.
Bruh, he has been... He's in the back end of the year. He's almost been a little bit like Sorensen was for him for many years, where he'd just come on and just blow the game apart.
Do you know how old IPAP is?
You say?
He's 26.
Out.
Feels like he's been around forever. Like between grand final with Para and early days at the Warriors, I checked it before. I'm 26 years old.
Far out. That's yeah, wow. That's the fact that he still has at least 5 to 6 good years in him. The fact that the Panthers would have got him on a pretty good wicket, he's been outstanding. I mean, he made our team of the week.
Isn't he one that a few more games like that, and he might come from the clouds to be the buy of the year. Like if he has games like that
in finals footy,
the rest of this finals,
I mean, it's like a whole different season. The finals footy.
Well, the season starts.
Yeah.
A week ago. It's
just trying to think.
Shout out to a bit of AI making its way into Rugby League broadcasting, mate. The Fox AI.
Oh, what was it?
So it came in over the weekend, and it's basically player rating. So I've got it written down how it basically works in a nutshell. Every action a player takes either adds to their team's chances of scoring or detracts from it. Fox AI shows how much value each player adds to their team's final score. So
no way.
Yeah, it's got like positive stuff, negative stuff. Like you could have a knock on, and then the team scores off the back of the error, and you get detracted points.
Wow, is it there? Good to go.
It's good to go, mate. It's
who was the most who got the best score?
I'll see if I can pull some stuff up on it. But yeah, it's cool. I like it. Good innovation.
That's sick. I mean, some of the technology that's going to come to the game is going to be sick. So look, with the Panthers,
I know Walsh on the weekend prior to getting or must have been when he got sin-binned, because he would have been detracted. It was on like 4 or something and ended up on 11 or 12 after the back of that game from that last 20 minutes.
So Panthers, they will be playing Dogs next week. I'll back them in.
Yep.
I'll back them in.
What do you reckon? I know what you're about to say, Hammy. What do you reckon the odds are head-to-head? Just have a guess, because I just looked at it just then.
I reckon the odds are $2.80 Bulldogs, $1.50 Panthers.
I reckon you get low threes for Dogs.
Yeah. Panthers $1.33. Dogs $3.37.
$3.37.
They were 366 yesterday. So
I mean, they are missing Critter.
Yeah, true.
It's a big
Maybe
price.
Dogs fans pack that joint out on Sunday.
I mean, if you're a Panthers hater, you would have rather them lean on the Raiders side right now. Wow, okay. Well, we'll see. I back them in. I think they'll probably get the job done. I think there's a very good chance we could see a Panthers Storm grand final. There's a good chance.
Very, very good chance we could, yeah.
But I would love to see a Broncos Raiders grand
Same,
final.
that's what I want to see.
Be tell ya as I'm getting upset.
Just on the Panthers, before we move on, I won this game. It was good, but fuck, they need Mitch Kenny back if they're going to win a comp, I think.
Yeah, it looked a little bit clunky around the rock there, and it just showed you how much they miss him too. Okay, on to the next game. It is the Sharkies defeating the Roosters 20-10. 20-10. Funnily enough, I feel like for most of these games, the teams, whatever their style of play was for most of the year, they played like that in these games. At least some of the teams that lost, like Roosters, for example, they were in the game. They came out the second half. They looked like they were going to blow the Sharkies out the water. And then once they realised that they couldn't, it's almost like they just completely fell apart. Whereas for most of the season, they come back out in the second half, or they had this 20-minute period where they score a bunch of points and just go, yep, cue in the rack, thanks for coming. Unfortunately for the Roosters, the Sharkies didn't blink. And if I'm being honest, the Sharkies look like a more composed side than the Roosters in this. Like, Sharkies looked comfortable. Whereas Sharkies a few years ago would have been rattled, wigging out.
Well, Kempy, on that, sorry, jump in, but the story you always tell me that sort of I continually think about is what Cam Smith told you about bad habits throughout the year. And that's what I saw in the Roosters in this game, where like they completed at 68%. So 16 errors in this game. Now, they had the second worst completion rate of the year at 75%. And then there's that game only a few weeks back against the Parramatta Eels, a big game for them, and they completed at 58%. And these are the things where it's like bad habits, you know, they came up in week 1 of finals because they couldn't get on top of it when it mattered most. And like, of the 8 worst teams in the NRL for completions, only the Broncos and the Roosters were there from the top 8 and playing finals footy. The Broncos are 78% completions for the year in 14th. The Roosters in 16th on 75%. It's in the Broncos' DNA. They throw the ball around, they make errors, they back their D, and it's too many errors for a week 1 finals games, albeit and an elimination game.
Yeah, and coming up against the Shark side, who was relatively conservative and add conservative in with, again, they look composed. Like, I got to be honest, I felt like the Sharkies looked way more composed than they've looked any of the years before it.
Oh, for sure. And there was that 10-minute period into the second half where I think they had to kick from their own 30 3 or 4 times on the trot. And even then, there was no panic. Like, the Sharks to me just looked like for the first time in years, come September, that they didn't have the weight of the world on their shoulders.
No, they look calm as anything. And what's crazy is the Roosters actually started the game something like 8 from 8, like 100% completion rate. They were essentially dominating winning field position, and then they just, so strange. What a great win from the Sharkies, you know? And like I think Mulatalo's comment's hilarious about shoving that win up your pipe.
That's good.
Now, I saw some people going, oh, what is he even talking about? No one said anything negative about the Sharkies. Maybe because I'm in it, but people were hammering the Sharkies mid-year, and heading into this game, not many people gave the Sharkies a chance in this game. And the Roosters was supposed to be the dark horse of the top 8, like the team you don't want to face because they're underrated. I think this is a great win from the Sharkies. And I think this was Trindle's, in my opinion, at the very least, one of the best NRL games he's played. I thought he was outstanding.
Yeah, he was fantastic on that left edge. I thought it was interesting too when you have a look at like the Sharks outside backs. Like Mulatalo ran for the most meters at 160 and the lowest was 110. So they all fell into that category there.
They've got through the Sharks. You know, when you talk about the importance of back 3 and yardage out of your own end, the Sharks back 3 is okay, but their back 5 is as good as any in the game because of what Iro and Ramian bring to the game. So they're constantly 130, 140 plus. They have games where, you know, without major line breaks and whatnot, they'll go for 170, 180 metres just in work rate alone. So I said back 3 good, back 5 up there with the best in the game.
Now, maybe I'm a Sharkies glazer. Not maybe, I'm definitely a Sharky glazer. But like, even when they won, I felt like the analysis was like it's still negative as if they lost. I'm just like, guys, yeah, all right. Did the Roosters make errors? Did they both make errors? Yeah, true. The Sharkies have just got into week 2 of the finals. A year ago, the whole meme was they can't win a finals footy game. And yet they beat the dark horse of the top 8. I think the Sharkies were great. I really do. Like, yeah, okay, were they as good as some of the top tier footy sides in the finals game? But like, did anyone expect them to be? Did anyone expect them to come out and be like, holy shit, the Sharkies are going to win the comp? I think it was a great win from the Sharkies. I really, really do. I think that, you know, I say it almost week in, week out. They just don't get enough credit. They really don't.
I think as well, the factor that I just don't think it's been brought up enough this year is that, you know, they just won a September game that was tight. And Cam McInnes didn't play in it.
Mate, Nick could have come off the bench.
Like, I spoke to Blake Brayley on Monday and I said, oh, you know, Britt Nicker back this week. He went, yeah, you know, it'll be interesting to see what Fitzy does there because Billy Burns been going so good. And I walked away going,
Billy Burns going so good.
Yeah,
mate,
bizarre, but...
Gutsy call. And look, Fitzy often gets criticised for being too loyal to his core bunch. He went into a finals eliminator going, no, these guys have been doing a job. We've won, 9 from 10 or something like that. It's a gutsy call.
I cannot believe they didn't start Britt Nicker. Results are results.
Yep.
They
Win's a win.
They're through to week 2 and, and Billy Burns was outstanding again. So, and mate, credit when due because as you said, like a lot of media in that, they sit there and say, oh, the Roosters didn't play real well and they made 16 errors. You know what? Good defensive pressure and a complete team they force errors because the pressure goes on. They'll go for an offload or something a little bit left field that they otherwise wouldn't have because they didn't have any answers.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest ones, mate, that led to errors and different things as well. But we've spoken about it all season, and particularly in the back end of the season, these two cheat codes on the wing under the high ball in Tupu and Nwanganitawase. And the job Mulitalo and Katoa did on these two, that was their cheat code, and it didn't work for them all game because of how good the wingers were defensively.
I couldn't believe how good Katoa was under the high ball. The amount of big games Katoa gets to, and he does seem to struggle under the high ball. Like, I'll never forget again against Penrith a year or two ago where he dropped the first one, and then the rest of it was just, mate, Katoa was outstanding under the high ball. And like, you're totally right, mate. Like, yes, you can sit there and be like, oh, they didn't complete that well. But usually when that happens, they just kick to Nwanganitawase and Tupou and they get out of jail. It didn't happen because now granted, Nwanganitawase still killed it, but their defence with the kicks was outstanding. It really was. Like, as I said, am I sitting here going Sharkies are going to win a comp? No, but I thought they were composed. This is the same team that a year ago were getting hammered for going 2 years without winning a finals game. Now they've won 2 finals games. They're going to play a Raiders.
Yes.
Raiders are relatively banged up. Like, I'm still backing the Raiders to win, but they're banged up.
They are. They just had to play an extra 20 minutes of football, and a lot of people sleepy on the Sharks. They've won 8 of their last 9 games. So, they're every chance to. Yes, it's going to be tough in Canberra, but
they played the Raiders early this year. I think they only lost by it was
24-20.
Yeah.
So
who knows?
I think as well they've won 8 of their last 9,
Correct.
was it?
Yep.
And when you go back to where that run started, was Toby Rudolph with that big play on Jeremy Marshall-King against the Dolphins in 2019.
Man, talk about the flu game. Toby Rudolph, he had a
poo game.
Toby pooed off.
Yeah. Poos his pants and,
wins a finals game after pooing his pants.
Glenn Lazarus. Unbelievable. Allegedly.
Allegedly, of course.
Yeah.
But that was
Craig Fitzgibbon in the presser.
No,
he just flat says, Rudolph's been doing my fucking head in 3.5 years. But he came up with that play. It was so good.
Yeah.
Mate, it's the poo game. It officially will go down as the poo game.
That's why they got all those extra portaloos into Shark Park the other day.
In case he needs to jump the fence and get in.
Pretty much.
You know what? That would have been a great try celebration. Score, jump the fence, run to a portaloo.
Yeah. Slam it shut and just engaged.
Prelim comes up.
How good.
Oh, no, well,
Yeah,
next week. So Toby pooed off. He's had his poo game. Michael Jordan flu game. Toby pooed off poo game.
Yeah.
I'm going the poo game.
Who did it better, yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, let us know in the comments section. Poo game or flu game? You let us know. But, mate, all jokes aside, again, you look at this roster and then you compare it to the Roosters roster. On paper, it should have been a Roosters win, but it wasn't.
Well, we've sort of said all year, do the Sharks have the mongrel and that competitive drive to win at all costs? And, mate, Ronnie setting the tone early when he wailed was Rob Toyer, and he got up and he was chirping, and there was a bit of arrogance in it. I'm like, good, the Sharks need this. And then I saw it a few other occasions as well. There was Will Kennedy pretty early on. It was in his own in-goal, gave someone a bit of a gobful as well. And then Sione Katoa gave, I think Billy Smith knocked on. He just gave a little shove in the head just to make sure he knew that he made the error.
Yep.
Little bits like this where I'm like, good, we need more of it from the Sharks.
Yeah. Even when Mulitalo, Nwanganitawase took Mulitalo out, but Mulitalo was in his face, trying to bump him, trying to get physical.
And as a teammate, you see that shot he put on Toyer and then he chirps up, that gets you going. You're like, look at my winger just did.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great point you bring up. We were questioning for a lot of the year, do they have the mongrel? Mate, they did it. And I know, look, I get it. The cop-out is going to be they're just going to exit week 2. Okay. But at the same time, they're one of the smallest clubs in the NRL that have just won the first week of finals. They came 5th. They came 5th or 6th last year, 2nd the year before. They've gone 4 final series in a row, 4 top 6 finishes. Not everyone can win the premiership. Not everyone can be a premiership heavyweight every single year. Mate, I'm a big fan of the Sharkies, and who knows? They might have got the Raiders just when they need it.
Mate, they couldn't have got them at a better time. Was it a 94-minute game or 95 minutes something?
They've gotten close to the Raiders before.
They literally lost after the buzzer this year. They had them, but Chris scored at the end.
And then, mate, I'm getting ahead of myself here, but if they do get through, they've played the Storm, they've beaten the Storm before this year.
Also,
In Melbourne?
all the pressure's on the minor premiers, not the Sharkies.
Yeah, it's just
Not a bad place to be.
they're playing with house money at the moment.
Yeah.
They really
They
are.
It is literally the polar opposite of where they've been the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it's a great point. Really great. Like, the past 2 years has been like all this pressure. You must win a game, otherwise you're just pointless being there. Now it's genuinely like no one gives them a chance.
Mate, like we just got to the end of a game that Trindle did really well. Hines on stat sheet, fuck all. No one said a thing.
Yep. Whereas last year he'd be
If he would have
Bash
done
from
this
pillar to post.
last year, he would have been told to move to lock. Just no one's talking about them.
Yeah, it's a great point. I've got to say with the Hines, mate, his defence has improved so much. And granted, I understand he might miss a tackle here or there, but like every half misses a tackle here or there. Compared to what he was first like coming into the halves and defending, mate, his defence has proved out of sight. Like, and they targeted him. It was 26 tackles as an edge, as a 7. So it's just a bloody good win. In regards to performances, this is what you buy Alan Blake for. This is what he was purchased for, in my opinion, against a big pack that has Lindsay Collins, Victor Radley, Spencer Leniu, White. This is when you need Alan Blake to take a lot of that pressure and momentum and that, just their big bodies. He nailed it.
They were shot ducks to start the second half. The Roosters started 3 or 4 sets on halfway or just over halfway, and as soon as AFB came on, exactly what you just said, mate. This is what they signed him for these moments.
Yeah.
He was the difference in this game.
Well, you got to imagine a world where, let's say he's not signed, Roosters probably go and score 4 or 5 tries and it's game over. But he came on, he absorbed the pressure, and he wrangled that momentum back. And like, you look at his stats, did he run for 200 metres or whatever? It doesn't matter. Go and watch the game. When he came back on, he managed to wrangle everything back. I'm stoked for the Sharkies. I really am. And even like little things like Brayley looks more confident. It's just a good, solid win for the club. It really is. Like, when you consider the clubs that they're facing and how big they are compared to the Sharkies, like, just a great win. But let's look at Trindle. So the first try he scores, like, they come shooting out of line, probably offside, but whatever. You're offside a lot coming off your own line, so it's fine. Somehow, some way, bumps off whilst also juggling the ball. Then he steps another player. Then he throws a long ball over to Mulatalo. Like, an outstanding try. And that was just the first one. He did another one later in the game.
Just not just any players, but Rob Toyer, who this year has proven one of the best sort of lockdown defenders in the game.
Absolutely.
Who got up there in his face, had no time, beat that tackle with footwork. Then he bumped off Mark Nwanedawazi. Then he had 2 players on him and he offloaded in contact and put it on Mulatalo's chest. Like, if Reece Walsh does that on Nathan Cleary, that is all you see in the headlines the whole weekend. Like, it was unbelievable,
Mate,
that play.
It was unbelievable, and that's why he won our Hungriest player, and that's why that play should be talked about, because you're right, mate. If some of the biggest stars, like Cleary does that, it'd be glazing him until 2020-30.
People be going, Cleary v. Johns. Trindle v. Johns.
Trindle v. Johns. But, mate, incredible. Really, really good stuff. And, look, it is strange, like, whenever they play together, there's only room for one player to shine. It just seems like that is always going to be the case. Who gives a shit? If you win in finals games, who gives a crap? As long as you win in finals games. So really, really happy for the... and look, I want to give a shout out to guys like Billy Burns and T. Wilton. Like, T. Wilton obviously a bit more established than Billy Burns, but like a lot of these forwards, like, and I'm saying this respectfully, but like Jesse Colquhoun, Wilton, Billy Burns, Toby Rudolph, like, they wouldn't make a lot of these starting sides in these other top 8 sides. Matter of fact, some of these boys wouldn't make the bench of these top tier sides. But they turn up and they deliver.
And I think that's where you also could give the ultimate compliment to Craig Fitzgibbon, because the reality is it's finals time, people playing hurt, guys are suspended, HIAs. You have to just get the best out of what you have.
Yep.
And he's done that with those guys. I think last thing on the Sharkies as well, like in this game, 41 missed tackles against the Sydney Roosters.
Yeah.
Roosters scored 2 tries, one of them was off a kick. And honestly, the other try they scored, I'm not sure how many other wingers score that try. I don't know how you guys felt. I don't know. We'll get to the Roosters. But when Mark got that ball, I went, there's no room.
No
He's going to have
chance.
to come in.
Yep.
He could have landed a plane in that corner by the time.
Craziness. Absolute craziness. Yeah. Like, it was a bloody good performance from the Sharkies, and I hope they get the credit they deserve. Like, I know haters will immediately write them off next week. Whatever, bro. Like, they just won a finals game against the Red Hot Roosters, and they worked their backsides off for it, and they're missing Cam McInnes, like their heart and soul.
And one of the most underrated players of the year, but Tommy Hazelton was a lady.
And Tommy Hazelton as well.
He's been unreal.
So, great win from the Sharkies. Really, really good stuff. Just quickly on the Roosters before we move on to the next game. What a missed opportunity. Jeez. Like, I thought Robbo handled it really well. I was expecting Robbo to be quite animated and frustrated. But my God, like, it's almost like they saved their worst performance for. And to take nothing away from the Sharkies, they had a big say in that. Huge missed opportunity, especially when you look at how open this finals game is. Like, are you telling me that this Roosters side, at their best, couldn't beat a banged-up Raiders side and a hot and cold Broncos side? Like, absolutely they could have. Huge missed opportunity for the Roosters here.
Yeah, enormous. I think this was always the concern with the Roosters. They're going to be able to do it for X amount of weeks. Back to back. Oh, I thought the biggest moment in this game almost was, I think it was Angus Crichton offloaded in the middle to James Tedesco. He was going straight through and he just dropped it cold. And I felt like that was the moment he went, it just isn't going to be the Roosters' night here. But yeah, a very disappointing one. But you know what? There was parts throughout this game as well where I looked at the Roosters, I thought, you do look like a team that's been playing finals footy for 4 weeks, though. And that's always going to take its toll.
Yep.
Timmy, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, agreed. They just looked flat, clunky. As I said, the Roosters at their best this season can beat anyone, but there's been too many poor games, and this was one of them. As we said before, like, yes, you credit the Sharkies' defence for the 16 errors, but you're not going to win a finals game with 16 errors under your belt.
Man, I'm just looking at their forward. This is their forward pack. Lenu, Watson, Collins, Crichton, Radley, White. Versus, oh my God, that'll be right. I just clicked the wrong thing. Versus Adam Fennell-Blake, Brayley, Rudolph, Burns, Wilton, Calhoun. Like, that's incredible from the Sharkies. Like, those two forwards packs, it shouldn't even be a contest, respectfully. You know, these guys are much better players than I ever was, but just on paper, those two forward packs are night and day. And the Sharkies did it. They did it.
We're just from all of us, off the dome right now, where do you place the Roosters for next season?
Look, I've said this before the final series even started a few weeks ago. The story of the year for me for the Roosters is how well they've developed some of these younger players. So I have them in a pretty strong position heading into next year.
Like the 4? Is that sort of what you're looking at?
4 might be a bit... 4 might... Oh, they got Robson coming in. Connor Watson will probably be 13 off the bench. The DCE is a spanner in the works for me. I don't know what's going to happen with that. Oh, I got him in the 8.
Yeah, I think they're well placed. Said these combinations will come along. The only thing will be the squad they're going to go into next year with, if fully fit, should be pushing for top 4. Absolutely, they should. Trent Robbo there. The question will be, does Ches come in and play 7? Robson will come in and be 9, and then I guess Connor Watson 13 starting. There's still going to be new combinations that you need to develop. If Ches comes in, who's the dominant man? Sam Walker, Cherry Evans, how's it all going to play out? So there are question marks, but mate, the roster they're going to throw out round 1 next year, they should be fighting for top 4 and nothing less.
So that's the other conversation. Like, we keep talking about DC, how he's going to change things, but I think as well, like, White has been so good in that 13 role, just playing power forward. When you move Watson back there, changes a lot of things as well.
Yeah, it's a fair call. Like, it really is how you want to play footy is what you'll select there. Do you want a mobile 13 that's going to ball play, or do you want a power Tamalolo-esque 13?
I love watching it 13. Naff White, you just play him as an out front rower. He can still play similar enough minutes and just...
Spencer come off the bench then with Lindsay Collins and stuff?
Yeah, happy to do that. Like, I think Spencer's best role, and we saw it for 4 or so years at the Panthers, and I've said it before that every time, the Panthers had players on rep duties and opportunities or an injured and opportunities for Lenny to start, Ivan Cleary never started him. He'd start Matt Eisenhuth over him. And there was a reason for it because he liked him as an impact player off the bench. So I just think you start Naff up front with Lindsay Collins. Lenny comes off the bench. Connor Watson is better at 13 than number 9 in my opinion. I think his ability to get in between defenders and that quick play of the ball, I like it. Robson at 9, that's a good pack.
Oh, mate. It's
just a lot of chefs in the kitchen, though. It's like a lot of guys in your spine that...
Well, the good thing is Robson is a pass-first 9. That helps a little bit.
Plays his role to a T. Will run when needed, but he'll get the right man.
Oh, man. Rugby League, the greatest game of all. So many questions. Just in regards to some of the other... I know, they didn't win or whatever, but that kick from Sam Walker to Angus Crichton, that short kicking game is unstoppable. I guess the positive as well for Sharkies, it's not like they completed at 90% as well. They completed only at 79%. But no one to I say. I'm trying to think, the last time we saw a bloke in the first year of NRL have this many highlights on the highlight reel. And I'm sure you can find someone, but there's an argument made he's got at least 1 or 2 plays of your lifetime in the last 10 weeks. It's just... Every time he touches the ball, there is a problem for the defence. It's crazy how good this guy is.
was having a look at his stats yesterday, and obviously he's going to win the Ken Irvine medal, most tries in the season and whatnot. I think he went on it was either a 4 or a 5 week streak where he didn't score a try as well.
Yeah,
And
when Sammy Walker came back.
When Sam Walker came back, yeah. When you have a look through, I think it's the last 12 guys that have won top try scorer. Osako in 2023 or whenever the Dolphins came in, he's the only one that's also had a 4 to 5 week stretch without scoring a try. So, like, it's crazy to think that when Sam Walker returned, he was just so left side dominant that took a number of opportunities, if not just tries, away from the Wanganeen, and he still got there in his first season.
Well, on the weekend, he had 20 runs, 216 metres, 71 post contact, 14 tackle breaks, 2 line breaks, 6 tackles, only 1 miss. It's crazy.
I know it'll sound like I'm blowing my Ashes squad out to a fucking 45-man thing, but he's probably one that I had right on the edge of getting in there. But I thought him under the high ball the other night, they tested him. I thought he was great.
It was great. That's part of his game that's not going to get credit when you look at the stats. He was outstanding under the high ball in defence. Yeah. Outstanding. I personally, I'd be going Nwangani Tawase, Coates if he'd be available, and then I'd be going probably Lomax at centre, and then that other centre spot is up for grabs potentially.
You'd have Lomax
potentially, yeah.
Centres.
I think so.
Yeah, right.
Because then coming out of trouble, you've got some work rate going there. Because the other options is Bradman Best, Staggs, and there was one other Burton as well. I mean, if you went Lomax Burton, I could understand that. Or Lomax Best and Burton off the bench.
I think I got Lomax in the squad, but I don't think I've got him in the centres.
Yeah, I hadn't even considered him playing centres. Yeah, it's interesting. What do you reckon?
Oh, mate, I'm just getting mentally prepared for this next game. So I don't want I don't care right now.
Oh, okay. Let's get to the next game then, shall we? Oh, man. Honestly, this might be one of the greatest days of all time in my life, outside of obviously having my children. So all day I'm just sitting there playing video games with my crew from Montel, internet fast inning. So I had Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez 4K. All the rugby league that was playing, also 4K, and then later in the day, in a way, also in 4K, whilst playing video games. Actually, if you were checking my story, you would have seen it. And that's all, the internet I've got right now, it feels like I'm in heaven. It is unbelievable. It's all thanks to Lontel. So, guys, use the code BLOKE. Go to Lontel, LAUNTEL.net.au. Go to residential. Then use code BLOKE. You get 7 days free. And it's also, you get $25 credit as well. But on top of that, no credits, no credit cards, no contracts. And you can also choose what you use. So if you want really fast internet, you crank it up and you can have the fastest. They got multi-gig that's just launched. It's already launched, yeah. So multi-gig's already launched, which is the internet I use. I downloaded a 65 gig file in 3.5 minutes. I downloaded Borderlands 4, which is 65 gigs, in 4 minutes. It's crazy, guys. You will not regret it. Go to lontel.net.au. All right, let's get into it. Broncos defeat the Raiders in one of the greatest finals games I personally have ever witnessed. It had everything, all the drama. It also had things we've never, ever seen before. I think the positive you can take away from both teams is when the game's on the line in finals and you need to go into the trenches, both teams showed they can go into the trenches. They can go toe-to-toe with some of the best rugby league in the competition. I thought the Broncos, matter of fact, both teams, when you actually look at their completion rate, at times didn't play their highest quality footy, but when the game ticked up to that extra layer or extra level of finals footy, they both took a step into that level. That's what's exciting for both teams. I think both teams are absolutely still premiership, not favourites, but definitely premiership contenders. They can win the comp from here. One of the greatest games I've ever watched of rugby league. It had everything. Root?
You want to jump first? Or?
Yeah, well, it's all, you asked me, when I came in the studio today, how was it? And I just said it was still a blur. It honestly was. That much went on that I've forgotten half of it. I have no intention of watching the highlights again because I'm not interested. But so much happened. It was one of, who's going to push back if you said it was the greatest game of all time? In terms of sheer entertainment. Seriously, what beats it?
When it comes to finals games...
Maddie's going to push back.
Yeah, well, when it comes to finals games, and I'm sure there's ones I'm forgetting, guys, but just 24 hours after of what I can remember, just finals game, I'll always think that the Cleary Panthers win of Broncos is number one just because of the way it all happened. But finals games, for me, it's the most entertaining finals game I've ever watched.
And the Penrith Broncos grand final, that was the most hectic because it was the grand final. It was at stake.
And it was high quality too.
But like if the Broncos, and I know context is everything, but if the Broncos Panthers one was week 1 of finals and a non-elimination sort of thing, this game was more entertaining. For sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
100%
That's fair because we saw things we've never seen before.
Everything.
But Matty, he has a different opinion.
I believe that Roosters, and I hate the Roosters. This is no bias here, but I reckon Roosters Tigers 2010 final.
I love that he still points it out. In case we forgot.
I thought you liked him.
No, not a fan. Sheer drama. I reckon that's number one. I reckon it beats yesterday. I think the moment, like you compare like the thing that got him to extra time, like Reece Walsh kicked a penalty goal off a bad rule, like Anasta kicked.
But the game was finished.
Yeah, but Anasta, they were down 14-15. Okay, I'll go back a little bit. Tigers had the scrum with 1 minute to go and they were up by 1.
The most West Tigers thing
After
ever.
Simon Dwyer killed Jared Hero-Hargraves.
How many weeks for that these
That'd
days?
be 10 weeks these days. It was a scrum. The Roosters won the feed. They won the feed against the feed. And then they throw the ball around for like a minute before Minicello throws it back to Anasta, who then nails the field goal.
From the sideline?
From pretty much the sideline. Like it was a hard kick. Then they go to Golden Point for 19 straight minutes, and the game's decided by an intercept that's by Kenny Dowell on halfway. And also, in that game as well, Mitchell Pearce and Benji both punched on. They both got sent to the bin. I'm pretty sure. That was hectic. Gareth Ellis scored a hat-trick in the first half, and none of the tries were awarded. Like, it was just pure drama, and it was also first week of finals, I'm pretty sure. Last night was amazing, but I think it's second to that.
Okay, so I'll go through what happened last night and then we'll let the people decide. Or you can obviously write a reply. So 3 people got sent to the bin. Hudson Young essentially got sent to the bin for getting in someone's face and yipping and yahooing. Reece Walsh headbutted a bloke. He walked off and gave the crowd the finger.
2 fingers, one on each hand. And also licked his lips or whatever he was doing, like Gene Simmons impersonation.
The Broncos were down by 16, I think, with about 16 minutes to go or something like that.
I think it was 18.
16 or 18. They score a bunch of tries. So Walsh comes back on after giving the crowd the finger, after headbutting Hudson Young, after getting Tent in the bin. He comes back on and puts on one of the greatest performances we've ever seen.
Must have gone and drunk out of a toilet in there.
No, hey, mate, let's go to check the performance enhancers in the toilet. Seriously.
pH level.
He comes on, plays one of the greatest 15 minutes you'll see. I still think Cleary's is number one, grand final, everything. But he plays one of the greatest. They score those points. He misses from the sideline, but they somehow get within 2 points. The game's on the line. He kicks from 40 out. It hits the crossbar, doesn't go in. Then he has another shot at it, doesn't he? There's another shot on the buzzer. Got charged down, but at the same time, Hosking. He has another shot. The buzzer goes. Raiders and all the fans go off. They're celebrating like they've won. Now, there's 2 whistles, but the first whistle goes as if the game's over, but the video ref has a chance to check it. So the Raiders are celebrating like they've won the game. Then he gets hit in the leg, which one of the most dubious, like a call that no one likes in rugby league, but it is a penalty. It has been for the last year or 2. So they get the penalty in front. The game ends. They come back out and play. And in the last, basically back and forth, the Raiders look like they're going to win it. Then Mariner intercepts the ball on his own line, which saves the Broncos. Then in the last few seconds of just extra time, a club legend's son and the coach's son, Jet Stewart, makes the match-winning play. The Raiders think they've won the game again. The whole crowd goes up. The team goes up. They are celebrating a victory. They go to the video ref. It is disallowed. Club legend's son, Jet Stewart, coach's son. The play turns from a match-winning play to, unfortunately, at this stage, they haven't won it. And then, to finish the game, Ben Hunt, who dropped the grand final ball in 2015, is the one, and he was brought back to club just this year. He's the one to drop goal from about 30 out or so to win them the game. That's why I think it's the greatest finals game I can remember anyway.
Reece Walsh walked back on the field in the 62nd minute. He set up a try in the He scored a try in the 65th. He then set up a try in the 69th. He then kicked a 40-20 2 minutes after that. Shibasaki's next try, he didn't have a hand in that. That 3 or 4 minutes was just fucking insane.
Absolutely bonkers.
He's a goldfish. He has no memory whatsoever. It was the same as when he was at the Warriors. Whenever the game's in the line, he wants the ball in his hands. I always said it. He'll make 10 mistakes. He'll go, fuck it, I want to make the 11th. Well, try and win this game of football. That's all I think about.
Yeah. What's crazy is that performance couldn't have been more Reece Walsh. To have such a huge brain explosion, where you essentially cost your team the game, to come back out and do what he did. All right, let's talk about the controversy, guys. Let's talk about the controversy. So,
which one?
Yeah, which one? Exactly. So basically, they drop the ball. Hudson Young runs from, 5-6 metres away, gets in Reece Walsh's face, give him a little bit of a chest bump, starts yipping and yahooing. Walsh turns around, headbutts him. Hudson Yorkshire kiss. Hudson Young falls over. Anyway, so that happens. Hudson Young gets sent for 10. Walsh gets sent for 10. But the Broncos, I'm pretty sure, got the penalty, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they did. So there's the controversy. Now, my personal opinion is I hate that Hudson Young got sent for 10. Like, why do both teams get punished equally? I don't agree with it. However, they have been reffing like that for quite a while now, where if you instigate the fight or the push and shove or whatever it is, you'll go for 10 as well. Boys, as I said, I don't agree with it, but that's what they've been adjudicating recently. Thoughts?
Yeah, I hate it. I think it's ridiculous that Hudson Young left the field. It's like we just sat here in the game before and go, how good was it? Mulatalo got in people's faces, blah, blah. You're sending a message that if Mulatalo says anything, you should just jab him in the head. You both get punished, and you both get equal punishment for it. Like, it's just ridiculous. I don't want to steal your thunder, but I thought what you said pre-show about him being a role model in the game and everything, I think that matters as well.
Okay, it's a joke. So, all right, grand final day, Panthers v Storm. Grant Anderson makes a mistake and Nathan Cleary lips up at him. Grant Anderson, Belly H says, just headbutt him, mate. You'll both go to the bin, but they lose Nathan Cleary for 10 minutes. I think Hudson Young getting binned for 10 minutes for throwing a bit of chirp on the field. Reece Walsh has a tantrum and headbutts him. Highly illegal. And Hudson Young gets 10 in the bin for chirping. I think it's a disgrace. I think it's ridiculous.
Do you think that they haven't been reffing like that all year? Like, as in, or do you think that
a player hasn't been binned for chirping?
I think for like instigating a fight, they've been binned for it.
Instigating a fight though, like Reece Walsh lashes out and headbutts him. Like Ronnie Mulatalo put a shot on Rob Toyer. If Rob Toyer gets up and reacts poorly to that and headbutts him or punches him, does Mulatalo get binned because he gave him a mouthful?
Probably. Like that, we've seen penalties be given away where, like, I think it was a Bulldogs Storm earlier in the year where I think Munster got in someone's face and then, the Bulldogs guy tried to fight him, but there was no punches thrown, and the Bulldogs got the penalty even though
was Munster
there's an error or something like that.
Was Munster binned or anything?
Well, I don't think anyone got through any punches or anything like that. I'm agreeing with you. I don't like it either. I'm just saying the refs have been penalising, and I'm pretty sure binning people for initiating things like that before. Okay,
I still don't agree with it because this is rugby league and people have cracks at each other all the time. Even if they want to give the Broncos the penalty because he instigated it, sin binned for it, please.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm just saying that to my understanding, the refs have been reffing like.
But
what do you reckon?
Has a player been binned this year for chirping up? Penalised maybe, but binned.
Well, I mean, I think the Broncos, the fucking Dolphins, Roosters, no punches were thrown, but all 4 got sent to the bin.
Even that was like that was a bit 15 people in on a scuffle and it boiled over and
bit of a melee. And
that kind of boiled over too. Like Tarpany came running in.
Especially when you kind of pretended to kind of like square up to him, whatever. So even that's a bit different. Like to go up to someone and just give him a bit of a bake for making a mistake. That's on Reece Walsh for losing his cool and headbutting him. So if someone chirps you, just go up and whack him. That's the
I'm with you, guys. I am with you.
Doesn't sound like it.
No, I'm saying that they've been reffing like that at least this year.
I don't think they have been doing it all year. That again, that's the issue because sometimes they do, e.g. the Roosters versus Dolphins game. Sometimes they don't, and then when it gets to a big game where it's all high and it all means a lot more, it just turns into a bit of a shit show.
Like for example, All Blacks, Spencer squared up to him.
Yep.
All Blacks squared up. That's all All Blacks did. He didn't throw a punch. He didn't land anything. He might have. He didn't land anything. Put it that way. Didn't land anything.
I think the headbutt takes it a step further.
It's a joke.
I think a headbutt's heaps worse than a punch.
Yeah, again, guys, you're talking to me like I don't agree with you.
No, we're
I agree
talking
with
to
you.
the show. We're talking to
but I just think that that's the way they've been reffing this year. If you instigate something, and what Ashley Klein said in the audio to Hudson Young is you took the control out of the game out of my hands by going up and instigating that. That's what he said. To paraphrase.
Well, if people are going to get binned for chirping up, then our game's in a very dark place. Because a very bad precedent has been set by this, put it that way.
Well, given the fact that he penalised someone for an incorrect play of the ball on the second play of the game, maybe it was good that someone took the game out of his hands for a little bit there. Anyway.
That definitely has been a penalty all year long.
Has?
Yeah. The Starling one.
Oh, come on, Kempy.
What?
In a huge final, 2 top 4 teams, you're going to stop the game and penalise that? He was up on his feet and he played...
And he fell over. That's been a penalty all year long.
Please.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I just think the moments that we decided to stick with what's worked all year, knock-ons, for example, we went completely away from that.
Hip
It's like,
drops.
okay, sure.
Hip drops as well.
You have, I just find it bizarre that these sort of things were the things they stuck to. No, I don't have as big an issue with that, but the headbutt situation, I'm just like, that's fucking outrageous.
It's outrageous that it's absolutely beyond outrageous that the Raiders were punished worse than the Broncos. It's outrageous because not only did you get a man sent to the bin, you lost a penalty.
You got penalised for it too.
Like that's
Seriously.
actually outrageous. And so yeah, I'm totally with you on that. My only point is that that's to my understanding with all the rugby league I've watched. That's how they've been penalising and even turning in the bin people. If you instigate it and something happens, it kicks off. You know what it'd be? We always bag it, but this is actually one week where I would like to hear the NRL explain what their thought process was. Like when they usually have the week Monday. I'd love to hear what their thought process was for it. Okay, with that all out of the way.
I would, to be honest with you.
No, it'd piss me off, I reckon.
Yeah, it
Really?
pisses me off.
I didn't mind
You're
those press
saying
conferences.
pisses me off, and you're not even trying to piss me off.
Well, I guarantee, even though I've said a million times that I agree with you guys, there will still be people saying, fuck you, Kempy. You fucking said that. It'll still have it. Now, if you want to debate that this hasn't happened all year, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. But I watch a lot of footy and I'm pretty sure it has. Okay, now the next big controversy. So Reece Walsh, he will just get a fine. For the headbutt. And Paddy Carrigan will get 1 week. So we'll just talk about the Reece Walsh, then we'll get into the other one. So I'd love to get your thoughts. We've spoken about this already off air, guys. So if it sounds like we're halfway through a conversation, we might be. But I'd love to get your thoughts. And obviously, I'll put it on the table. There are other incidences of headbutts happening and people getting fined for it. I think it was Sy Feedy last year and a Morgan Smithies this year. Anyway, thoughts, boys.
Before you start, I just want to point out it was grade 1 striking.
Okay, so it was grade 1 striking. Does that mean...
I'd hate to see what grade 2 is.
Yeah.
But yeah, grade 1 striking, just for context.
Which is the same as what Morgan Smithies would have got and would have been the same as Sy Feedy got last year, I think. Thoughts, boys?
I think, unfortunately, I'm going to have the exact same conversation I did on the last one. I did the same thing with Morgan Smithies, so whatever. But I don't know how you can not get a suspension for a headbutt like that where you walk up to someone and do that. It seems outrageous to me.
The shit in our game that people get suspended for these days, absolutely nothing incident. Literally, you can be running past a ref chasing a ball and you flick them on the elbow and you've come in contact with the ref just by accident and you get suspended for a week. But then you can go and headbutt a player with intent out of nothing. Okay, you got chirped at and didn't take it well, and not get a week for that is ridiculous. And I know you're going to preface and say the Morgan Smithies incident earlier in the year, they're not doing the same in any way for me. Reece Walsh didn't like being spoken to like that, and he had a brain explosion. Morgan Smithies, who for the record, when he did earlier, I think he should have been suspended for a week as well, because I think a headbutt is a headbutt, and I just think it's in no way, shape or form is it on in our game. And the Morgan Smithies one, there were 3 players on him. He was wrestling to get out of a tackle. He was aggravated by it and did it. As I said, should have been suspended as well. And look, maybe there's a precedent there in headbutts. I don't think that is the same as what Reece Walsh did to Hudson Young. And I just can't believe he didn't get a week for it, mate. And at the end of the day, when we look at right now the pin-up boy of rugby league who kids adore, and they watch him go and headbutt someone, he doesn't get a week for it. What are they going to do in the future when they get riled up on a field?
Yeah, the Smithies one for me, 3 blokes hanging off him, not excusing the headbutt. Should have been suspended. It was against the Tigers as well. Should have been suspended. It looked bad, blood coming out and all that sort of stuff. But different circumstances though. Blokes hanging off him, making a tackle. This other one was a break in play, a bit of push and shove, and he chose to, like, you know, he could have turned around and walked away or shoved him off or something like that. He chose to headbutt him. Very different.
Yeah, I think where I disagree is like Morgan Smithies could have chose not to headbutt. He headbutted him so hard he's got blood all over his face, whereas love tap from Walsh. I think that it should be a suspension, but if you've already set the precedent that headbutts are not suspension, then I think it's unfair to suspend him. Anyone watching that tackle with Morgan Smithies, that was a clear intentional headbutt. So hard, he had blood all over his face. I just, the way we have a different opinion, whether he's getting tackled or whether he's getting chirped at, if you intentionally headbutt someone, regardless of what the environment is, and this guy got away with it, then I think this guy should get away with it.
You know what? If it was Corey Pakes, he's getting a week for it.
100%. Without doubt.
Well, the only reason that goes against that though is because Morgan Smithies is a small name and he didn't get.
Yeah, but it wasn't a big, I don't know, difference. Like playing the Tigers in round 16 at Campbell. I know it should be all equal, but I think there's, you know,
I don't know if you can start judging. Like, aren't we to try to get to as consistent basis as possible? See, I think a headbutt should be a suspension, but I think if you've already set the precedent that it's not,
I'd say that.
Then it's unfair. It's unfair for Walsh to get suspended for that. Now, I will say, we'll get Matty, your thoughts on that, mate?
I'm going back to this grade 1 striking thing. How is that a grade 1 striking? He walked up, he headbutted him. It should be grade, maybe not grade 3, but that should be grade 2. Like, how is that the lowest form of striking? That's absolutely absurd.
Maybe the contact amount was what they're looking at?
Maybe, but I think they've looked at the judiciary code, said, all right, grade 1 will get him a fine. We want Reece Walsh in the prelim. I think that's definitely what's happened.
And I think that's the other thing that makes it so hard for fans is that, you know, you've got the Taylor May situation a couple of years ago where they, you know, put that sentencing back so he can play finals. You've then got Nico Hines last week. Like, Montoya didn't fucking play on the weekend because of Nico Hines. How is he allowed to play based on everything we've found out throughout the season? We're not even sure if Montoya is going to play this week. It's ridiculous. And then you have this one as well. Like, it's just got a feel to it. The NRL just wants their best players to be playing at the best times.
Well, it feels sometimes like they're consistent when they want to be and inconsistent when they don't. Like, him not playing, in my opinion, and I know there's a little bit of a difference, is consistent because Morgan Smithy got off. But like the Nico Hines one with the hip drops, like hip drops disappeared this week. Like, as in, Payne Haas got hip dropped by Starling, and he might be injured for next week. He might not be at 100% or whatever. And look, I don't want Starling to get any time in the bin. I don't want him to get even in trouble. But I'm just saying the consistency week to week. Okay, so there's that in regards to the headbutt. So you guys all feel he definitely should go at least a week?
I think it was worthy of a week, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm fine. I would have been fine with a week. And like I've said it before, like finals are a different beast. We want the best players on the field as often as possible. And, you know, some would argue for 2 weeks for a headbutt like that. I'm like, no, give him the week. If the Broncos are good enough to make the grand final, have him on deck for that. But I thought this was an isolated incident that you can't compare it to much. A straight up headbutt, it's different to a hip drop. It's different to an arm slipping up for high contact. It's different to all of those. And but I thought it was a week.
1 week?
Yep. You know what I would have been comfortable with if they went a week and they gave it the old tailor-made job from a few years ago and go, do it next year though. Don't ruin the finals with it.
A week? 2 weeks?
If I'm not looking at the judiciary code, I'm giving him a week, but grade 2 striking's 2 weeks. So based on their code, that makes no sense that they need a review at the end of the year because it's absolutely ridiculous. He should have got 2 weeks, but I think 2 weeks is way too much. I think it should be 1 week.
Okay, now to the other one. Me personally, I actually think this is substantially worse. Now, I know the look of the... So it's been 1 week, the Paddy Carrigan shoulder charge to the head. I actually think he is lucky to be playing again this year. I think normally, and this is where I do think that they've looked at Pat Carrigan, finals footy, grand finals, and they've gone, let's just give them a week and hope they make the grand final if they end up making the grand final or whatever. Because this was genuinely dangerous for me. Like the headbutt, the reason why I'm a little bit, the headbutts is not as, I know the look of the game, I get all that, but I'm more worried about danger in rugby league. To shoot out of the line, first contact be the head, and the only thing, in my opinion, that saved Carrigan from being sent from the field was Morgan Smithies having a bit of ticker about him and getting straight up. He could have easily, if he lays down and pretends he's Gonskis, I think Carrigan may have gotten sent from the field. I think he's lucky to be in consideration for a grand final if they make it. I think that is one where if they had said 2 to 3 weeks, I would have said, you know what, I can understand it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it looked like a 2-weeker to me.
Yeah, look, I mean, regular season or any other time is probably 2+. Again, same argument. If the Broncos make a grand final, I want to see Pat Carrigan in it. And like, I don't mind the Taylor May one of, you know, give him a week in the prelim, whatever it is, and then I don't know if you backdate for the year after. I understand you're opening a bit of a can of worms at times, and there'd need to be some more regimented and strict rules around it. But I want to see Pat Carrigan on grand final day if they're there. I'm happy for it to be 1 week, and yeah.
Hammy?
Yeah, I'm glad that it's a week. I mean, yes, probably deserves a couple more, but just to leave the door ajar for him to be involved in a grand final if they get there, comfortable with it from that perspective.
What do you reckon, Matty?
I think, according to the code again, literally, I think it was grade 2. And grade 2 is 1 week, so I'm happy with 1 week.
Okay, fair enough. The reason why I'm a bit harsh on this one is it's just the danger of it. Like, that's one area of our game that is going to be defining when it comes up in the future. And like, you know, that's long-term damage for Morgan Smithies. Like, anytime you get knocked like that, and he got fucking hammered. If it was anyone less tough than Morgan Smithies, I reckon he's down and he's probably not coming back on the field. But and I know concussions aren't necessarily about toughness, but like, there are certain players that push through that kind of stuff, and Morgan Smithies is that guy. I think Paddy Carrigan's is super, super lucky. Super, super lucky. That's the stuff that is actually dangerous, the stuff that is going to affect the game long-term. So, I do think the Broncos got out of this extremely lucky, extremely fortunate. And I do agree with, if you were to say, like, if Jared Warrior-Hargreaves did the headbutt, is there any way he's getting out of it? I don't know. I don't think he is. No. And it's not just Reece Walsh that would get away with it. There are a few glamour players in this game that are superstars that probably do get a bit of lenience because of how big they are as players. I think if Victor Radley does it, he might be missing 2 weeks from the headbutt. And same with the contact with the shoulder.
I think it's just like when incidents happen in contact, making a tackle, having a run, it is a split second in the moment. Lots of things going on around you that impact and influenced the illegal shot or whatever it might be. There was nothing to instigate Reece Walsh doing this. He was standing there. He had his breath. He was getting a gobful, and he chose to do this with complete intent, and that's what stings me.
Okay. All right, let's get to the game. I thought Ricky Stewart, although I disagree with his initial point, like, because he basically said that you're allowed to headbutt now, I agree with the sentiment around why the fuck am I getting the same punishment as the Broncos? I definitely do. I thought he handled himself with class in that press conference. I really do. There's a lot of things that you can understand why coaches lean more towards their side. There are a lot of things that happened in that game, even though I agree with, like, I think that Klein made the right call in regards to disallowing the try. I hate the call. I think it's the rankest fucking penalty ever when it comes to drop goals, but that has been a consistent thing for a long time now. I thought Ricky Stewart handled the press conference absolutely outstandingly.
He almost handled it disappointingly so well, if I'm completely honest. I thought we were going to get some real fireworks.
Yeah. I just want to give him credit because, like, and we joke about it all the time, how passionate he is. In a moment where Raiders fans were looking to him for, like, if he had come out there and fucking smash the refs, Raiders fans would have been like, absolutely agree with you. In a moment when you need your leader to be calm and collected and focus on the next week, I thought he handled it as a real leader should.
He was fantastic in it, wasn't he? Everyone was expecting fireworks, and he got his point across and did it in a very measured manner. And like as you said, there are just so many moments in this game. On full time, the Reece Walsh one where Zach Hosking flicks his foot. Another disgraceful rule in our game. It's a penalty. It just is, and we all know that, and it needs to be changed. And it's not. This isn't Raiders like by saying it now, because when Harry Grant did it, who was it against?
We hated it then too.
Yeah, we did that, and we're like, it's just so poor. And they're not all the same as, again, everyone throws out the Ilias one in Cup. It's just not the same. It is the rule. It was a penalty.
And also the Hosking one's a little bit different too, because he came from like a different kind of angle as well. Like, if you were looking at look, I'm not a physio or whatever, but like, it was the safest of the non-safe play or whatever.
The Ilias one, I can't remember who did it, but he was going straight at his body, full steam at the leg. Hosking, literally, like, I think it's half in his mind about it, and I reckon you see him veer to the right to try and get away, but he flicks him. So.
Yeah. I think Ricky handled his, with Just so much professionalism, and shows you why he's a great coach, he's a great leader, he's a great player. Okay, we'll talk about the Raiders first, and then we'll talk about the Broncos. Look, the positive, like, it depends how you view it. If you're glass half empty, you go, how are you losing a 16-point lead or 18-point lead or wherever it was? But the positive for me is, like, for much of that game, they physically dominated the Broncos. They physically dominated them. Like, Broncos couldn't get over their own end. Outside of that first 5 minutes where the Broncos scored that early try, I felt like the Raiders withstood that pressure and just said, okay, let's click into gear. That's one try. It's the first few minutes of the game. Who cares? And once they clicked into gear, they just looked so in control. Kayo Weeks was outstanding. Hudson Young was like next level outstanding. I think there's still a lot to like about the Raiders. I think that it took a talent that is a generational talent to do something insane to lose a game that you still could have won anyway. Like if Fogarty nails that field goal, if the bounce of the ball goes the Raiders' way just once out of 5 times, you guys are in a prelim. I'm still really happy with where the Raiders are at.
Yeah, for sure. I think Hudson Young was the standout for me. Some of the stuff he did in that game obviously got sin bin, but
unstoppable.
There was the charge down in extra time as well that sort of got fun on the radar. I will say, if I'm going to nitpick one thing, that run that when Jamal Fogarty had the shot at field goal, where he ran from the left side to the right, it was just
get down,
just get down to the left post and set it up for him. I think he made it very, very difficult for Fogarty after that moment. I think that's one that he'll watch back on the tape this week. He'll know straight away. That was just the one moment that I thought, fuck, that game could have ended there.
Not to excuse it. I know you're not necessarily saying this. In kind of his defence, even though it was the wrong play, like he is usually relied on to make a big play in those situations. Like the game's on the line. How do you make something happen? But I agree with your point. I definitely agree with your point.
Yeah, so proud of the Raiders. You know, both sides were fantastic. Played an incredible brand of footy, and they should both hold their heads so high. And what the Raiders did, look, you know it can't be like they gave up an 18-point lead that they shouldn't have, and it's awful. But it took a generational player at his absolute peak for 15 minutes to make that happen. And sometimes when a player is like that, as per Nathan Cleary in the grand final a couple of years ago, there's nothing you can do about it at times. And the kicks he hit, the 40-20s and all that, there's not a lot you can do to stop him. So, mate, the Raiders were unbelievable. Fantastic game of footy. And to Rue's point, we're struggling to close out games in a conventional rugby league manner with a field goal when you set up on the line for a shot from 10 out that you should not be missing. We can't do it. We've won games on the buzzer this year, but they've been through ridiculous try-scoring circumstances. Like, there was the one Roo said there where Hudson just had to take the tackle. Jamal was set up. Mate, I wouldn't be confident that Jamal would hit it anyway because I think it was... Again, it was all such a blur, but there was late in the game where Jamal did have a crack and we were set up 10 metres out from the line. The shot was on. Mate, didn't even get close to getting a shot away. And it's not solely his fault. There's service from dummy half, blockers being in the right place, all sorts of things, whatever it might be. But like one thing I've seen, every time players, including Ben Hunt, nail a field goal to win a game from 10, 20, 30, 40 out in front, they're deep. It's just too flat every time. And look, they obviously practice at training and they do it flat and it works, but it doesn't seem to be working in games for us. And our ability to, as I said, ice a game in a conventional way, we're battling to do it.
Yeah, it's funny, like we were talking about, like when your weaknesses in the season sometimes come back to bite you in these big games. And although anyone listening to the podcast knows how big of fans we are of Fogarty, like he is truly, his year has been unbelievable. But you go back to that Penrith game and you ended up winning the game, so it covered over the cracks a little bit. But Fogarty had multiple opportunities to ice that game.
There's even another one, mate, really late in the game. I can't remember if it was end of regular time, if it was in extra time, golden point, whatever. And he was terrific yesterday, Jamal Fogarty. Yep. But at key times, like he was tackled on fourth at one point where he ran the ball and it's like, mate, we need your boot for this last tackle. I went to Ethan's change, scooted a little bit. I think you were coming off your 30 after it instead of your 10. Just little things that... not icing them in the way they should be iced.
Yeah, and I said last week, like in regards to the Fogarty, when he couldn't ice those Penrith Panthers or the couple of weeks before, like to win a premiership, you have to have a player that can do that. Yeah. And so that's his challenge in this. This is his opportunity in this final series, is to just round out the last bit of his game, which is, because if you actually go back a couple of years, he had a similar issue. I think it was the Dolphins, where he had like 4 attempts at, and we know he's a good kicker. We know he's a great kicker. But he's just, in those high-pressure situations, he's just got to find a way to just take a step back, maybe take an extra step back, and just find a way to calm his mind and nail it. Because that's probably his big challenge for this series, is those big high-pressure moments. Just got to find a way to nail it.
And as well, like you're obviously talking about the in-play kicking and field goals, like same against Penrith a few weeks ago, missed that goal.
Yeah,
just
pretty
the
close.
Left-hand side of the sticks, did the exact same thing off the Ethan Strange try.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit further out, but for a kicker like him,
Nails it usually.
got to get those. Yeah, and we said at the time, I think I said 9 times out of 10. You said 99 times out of 10 he hits that.
Yeah.
The closest we came in that game was Kayo Weeks actually hit the post like, with a shot. I was like, no, it has to be Jamal's job, but for some reason he just can't get it right.
But that goal kick there as well, like if he would have got that, changes the game completely.
Oh,
Like it becomes 3 scores all of a sudden, which I reckon almost just breaks the heart of the Broncos to
yeah.
some extent.
I mean, they needed everything to go their way, literally everything. Thoughts on the icing of the game? Do you think it's a challenge for them heading into this final?
Yeah,
stage?
a little bit of it. Yeah, probably a few things could have gone a little bit smoother there. They probably would have thought they had it in the bag a little bit earlier than that. They might not have needed it to come down to icing it again. But yeah, definitely something they'll work on, and they'll look at the tape on that, I'm sure, in the week. But quality player Fogarty. He's iced plenty of other games for him this year so far.
Yep.
So I'm sure if he gets another chance,
It was like a bit of a weird scenario when the sin bins happened and when Ethan Strange. I know me sitting on my lounge, I went, okay, it's done here. Like surely Broncos can't get themselves.
When Carrigan went, you're like, I think we were up 18 at that time, like surely.
Yeah.
I know the Broncos, they are the exception, but even myself, I just went, this has to be it.
Yeah. Very, very strange. I will say some really smart coaching from Ricky, and I'll have to go back and re-watch it because maybe he pulled out of the line for different reasons. I thought it was brilliant coaching from Ricky to start. I think it was like the first 20 or 30 minutes, you guys laid 3 grubbers in behind the line, and I think the Kayo Weeks one, it went dead, but it had the desired effect because basically, and I don't know if it was a set-up play, but it all seemed to come together perfectly. So you'd done those 3 early grubbers in behind, scored off one of them. I think you got a repeat set off the other, and then the Kayo Weeks one went dead. In the next 5 minutes, the try that Kayo Weeks scores, Hetherington is too far wide on the A, and I personally think that's because Reece Walsh was shitting himself, and usually he goes into A on the line, but because of all those short grubbers, I think that's what pulled Walsh out of the line, created the space for Kayo Weeks to score in the try.
Speak about it all year, Kempy, and I don't know, fullback in the line all the time is the answer. The first 2 tries from the Raiders, there was Hudson Young's kicking my line. Granted, it was an unbelievable kick, but a back row was doing with that ease for, I think it was Seb Chris. And then, the first one as well to Hudson Young. It's like, Walsh wasn't in QE.
No.
And it's not even Walsh's fault. He's just playing the modern fullback, defending at that sort of A defender, and he couldn't get there. And that was as easy as it comes.
So I don't know whether, listen, if that was set up to roll those in early, and to be fair, a lot of coaches do roll in early to keep the wingers honest, but if it was set up, because like that spacing from Hetherington was like mind-blowing. It was so poor. Like you're in a finals game, you're a good defender. Hetherington, his strength is his defence. The only thing that makes sense to me is he thought Reece Walsh was inside him, and that's why his spacing was so poor. But if they did set up for Kayo Weeks to get one off the ruck and just go bang off the right foot and go through, that is master coaching. Master coaching. Some other good. We already spoken about Hudson Young and how good he was. To be honest, I felt like I just loved the grit and the toughness. And I know they've already proven that, the Raiders, but to prove it against a Broncos side that's up for this match and to go toe-to-toe, and matter of fact, for 60 of the minutes, physically dominate the Broncos. Like, that's huge. That's not an easy thing to do.
I felt a bit sorry for Ricky towards the back end of this game. I thought that, I'm the biggest Owen Paddy fan in the world, but I thought that it was the right call to leave Tom Starling out there for the 80 minutes. I think once they got up, it was the right call. Starling was the man for that job. But then when you went to overtime and extra time, and Starling, his ass was obviously hanging out by that point, he was sort of forced into making this. Not forced, but I think by that point it was like, okay, we probably need to get the fresh legs out there when you probably, in hindsight, would have rather have the more experienced head in Tom Starling. There was a few moments there that I think Owen Paddy will learn a lot from. But I don't feel like Ricky made the wrong decision, but it just ended up playing out to be the wrong decision, I think.
I mean, the only thing I could think of, and this is definitely hindsight, like you take him off early and they score those 16 points anyway. So it's like, they would have scored him anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? And then you bring him back on. Because that last 20 minutes, if you took Starling off in that last 20 minutes, it would have changed much. Again, this is hindsight talking. And so that's the only thing I can think of. Hindsight, you took him off for 20 minutes to go anyway. Broncos score those 16 minutes, but at least Starling's fresh to come back on in extra time.
For sure, but I think, obviously in hindsight. But I think at the time, when they were up by that many points, they weren't chasing points. They were just looking to defend it out. I think leaving Starling on was the right call.
I will say Starling's performance was absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Like, to think that a guy that was like definitely second string, but like at times third or fourth string over the last few years, could improve as much as he has to have that performance against the Brisbane Broncos in the finals game is outstanding.
He was so good, wasn't he? Like, just
tore us apart.
Every time he darted from dummy half, he was just leaving bodies on the ground or creating space for the blokes around him or engaging markers. He just... Everything, it was as good as he's played, really. Like, he's had games with more major attacking stats and all that, but in terms of just doing damage around the ruck, wasn't he brilliant?
Absolutely brilliant. And just quickly before we move on, big concern, though, heading at it, is that right side defence. Like, they have to sort that out. Like, I think Timoko had 10 missed tackles. And I know... 9 missed tackles out of 15. Wasn't his best day as well. Just that edge defence, geez, they got to sort that out quickly.
Sharkies love going that way too.
Yeah.
Multalo, Kale, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, the edge defence has been questionable all year.
Yeah, and so that's going to be a real worry heading into finals footy because people are going to watch the video, people are going to go, wow, there's a bit of joy down here. Like, there wasn't... Yeah, what do you reckon they... Obviously, they stick with what they've got, but what do you reckon they do to fix it quickly?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
You can't just click your fingers, unfortunately. Yeah. So, and that's been the combination for a long time. So, yeah, I just got to hope they get it right on next week.
Yeah. I thought Sasangi off the bench was bloody outstanding.
He's been so good.
What the hell, bro? He's like an impact player of the year, this bloke. He comes on and tore us apart.
He is unreal. There was a moment I was right behind it at the game. Made a break down the left edge, had an opportunity to draw and pass. Obviously, I didn't see it replayed properly. Do you remember what I'm talking about? Like, it was on the try line, and
I think it was like early in coming.
Basically, had an opportunity to give Jed Stewart, it might have been, the opportunity to basically go not even quite one-on-one with the winger and score it. Should he have given it? Do you remember, or was it he tucked and got held up or knocked on or something?
I don't think he.
I don't think he had an opportunity to give it.
Okay,
is my memory, but
okay.
All I remember thinking is like that bloke has just got on the field and he's tearing us apart.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought he was outstanding. I thought Morgan Smithies, that's the best game I've seen him play for Canberra. I thought he was outstanding. He was really, really, really good. Horsburgh good. I mean, to be honest, like outside of the big concern is obviously that edge defence, but it's just the errors. Like they just got to sort that out. This Raiders side, if they're completing at 85%, like there's outside of the Melbourne Storm, maybe Penrith, I don't think people are going with them.
Zach Hosking, 94 minutes. Like, he was outstanding, like, penalty aside. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, some good performances.
So, yeah, good signs. Now, onto the Brisbane Broncos. I am just like, obviously you got the Reece Walsh situation, two blokes in the bin, regardless of how you feel about it, two blokes in the bin, down at Canberra, game is done and dusted. This, for me personally, this was a Michael Maguire win because the ticker and fight and belief that he's instilled in this playing group, to still think you can win it when you're against the minor premiers at their home ground, you've had two blokes in the bin, and you still find a way to win it, that's why this is a Michael Maguire victory for me. That's just pure heart and ticker, plus a superstar in Reece Walsh, obviously. But I just think the heart they showed to somehow, some way still be in it. The heart they showed is to be like, you know what, we can still win this game. Just incredible stuff from the Brisbane Broncos.
Yes, I don't even know where to start here. Like, it's just so much to take in. I tell you what, I did love that first try, and you talk about Reece Walsh and the things he did in this game. Just, I love that try assist he had for Tony Staggs. Like, he does
smart.
everything smart, but just his ability. He's so lightning quick and on his feet, but then the ability to play slow as well. I thought that was just perfect ball playing for him.
Yeah.
Like, so far beyond where he should be in his career. Like, just how well rounded he is that he can do both is just crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, you summed it up well, Kempy, but incredible, the Broncos. As you said, the belief they had in themselves, and, while the game looked dead and bare, you just felt like they've got this confidence in their own abilities, the Broncos, that they never gave up at any point. And, like, I think everyone sitting in the crowd was going at 18 points with not long to go, game over.
Yeah.
The Broncos, you just felt like they never thought that. And even a lot of the tries they scored in late bust, mate, made them look pretty easy. Like, everything just clicked, and to be able to fight back from that deficit in a finals game away from home with a roaring local crowd, unbelievable win for them. And to touch on that play of that Staggs opener and the work of Reece Walsh, right in front of me where that try was scored, and I was burning, but there was just a little NRL nerd in me. I was like, oh, roaming Katoni, how good's that?
Mate, and just smart footy, like going,
So
okay,
good.
we're going to get the most explosive bloke on the field physically, and we're going to get him straight on Fogarty, probably the smaller player in this Raiders side, and to execute it the way they did. And you can't be angry at Fogarty there. Like, it's just a mismatch. Like, what are you supposed to do there?
They just executed it, as you said, Roo, so perfectly. And Staggs very rarely comes out of his edge. And to do it that early on in the game, I think he just caught everyone off guard. I'd love to know how long they've had that in the back pocket for, because had the plan, executed it to a T, ambushed, was brilliant.
Mate, and I just, the ticker that they showed, like, everything wasn't going their way in regards to, like, the sin bins, the errors, like, it just wasn't their day. And you're sitting there going, and in my notes, I've got like, this is my worry for the Broncos, is they have this incredible performance against the Storm. They come down to the Raiders, they think, fuck it, we're just going to spin the ball, we're going to score as many points as we want, we're going to get ahead of ourselves. And that's what happened. Like, they were completing at like 70%, just making silly mistakes. But they just somehow, some way wrangled it out of the fire. It's just absolutely incredible performance. Incredible. What do you think of the Broncos, mate?
Unbelievable. To come back, particularly when they were so far down and the game seemed dead and buried. They definitely showed a lot of ticker on the weekend. Very smart play. That was a good one that you picked up on there, Timmy, particularly so early in the game. So have the guts to kind of go, let's just roll it out now. Let's not save it for some other point in the game. Very impressive. They've probably demonstrated to me that they can actually... They can't win the comp now, really.
It's just crazy.
They just defy everything you know about finals footy.
It's bizarre.
They just do the opposite of all of it. And I keep thinking it'll punish them at some point. Will it? I don't know.
It did punish them on the weekend. They were done, and they still won.
Absolutely mental.
Sure, like it punished them for a period of time, but I don't think they fucking realise that. It doesn't faze them. They're not scared of anything.
I mean, you would expect them to get to halfway and go, fuck, not our day, boys. Like, we're not completing high. It's not working for us. Reece Walsh to bang 2 40-20s, and I think it was nearly 3 at one stage. Like,
they completed 80%.
Yeah, and that was...
They had 55 set.
Which is crazy, because that was the run where they scored all their points. So they went, I think they went like 10 for 10, and they scored all their points. So, and it's similar to the Raiders, though, is that I believe the Raiders are the same. If they complete high, they can do that as well. Like, we've seen it this year. But some of these performances, like Payne Haas, he was on one leg for most of the game. They brought him off early because they're like, oh, shit, he's injured. They bring him back on. I think he hurts it again. Then you guys go on ahead by 16 points or whatever. Michael Maguire then goes, okay, game's over. I'm going to bring him off because he's going to need him next week. Then they realise, oh shit, the game's back on. They put him back out there, and this is he got taken off. He got taken off for I don't know, let's say 20 minutes or whatever. So he ended up playing, which is a lot, but 74 minutes, 21 runs, 174 metres, 63, 2 post contact, 4 tackle breaks, 5 offloads, 48 tackles, only 1 miss.
When he hobbled off that first time, I was like, he's done.
Yeah,
he was not.
Unbelievable stuff. I thought my one concern with Ricky at times is, against a bottom 8 side or even mid-table side, he can have a good solid game. But against top-tier sides, can he step up and take that next kind of step? I thought Jordan Ricky was outstanding.
If I'm Madge, that's the game I'm showing him going. It's not going to get harder than that.
Yeah.
It was 94 minutes. You held in the fight the entire time. I agree with you. I think at times he can be a bit of a flat tracker, but fuck, he showed up in this game. And, just having a look at eyeball of your game in 2 weeks. Are we assuming Piakura is not going to be available?
Broken here or whatever.
While we're on it, huge news, and I'm sorry to say this, Billy Walters has done his ACL.
Oh, no.
Okay, well, that ruins my next question I was going to ask. Fuck.
That sucks.
In the game, obviously?
I'm trying to find it.
No,
now.
he played the full 94 minutes. That's crazy. What's happened?
How could have he done it? It must have happened in the game at the end or something. Or right at the end.
100-metre walk back to
Did
the
you
bus.
put the bus further
That
away
bus.
or what?
Bloody Raiders, mate. You never fucking know what they mean, mate.
What?
Fuck.
What a shame.
He's had the year of his career. So he won't be back till...
No, that's fucked,
Mid next year.
He was just about to sign an extension upgrade. Surely they can still give it to him. Oh, man.
Adam Reynolds.
Reynolds cleared, so he's playing. But
So Reynolds at 7, I think that forced your hand.
Yeah, you have to
play
go 106.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I actually thought Corey Pags didn't have his best game on the weekend. Like, some of his decision making in that was not great. He was okay. He wasn't bad, but
I think now as well, though, the big question, like, you're going to have to replace Pat Carrigan and you're going to have to replace Pete Curry
So we Hunt, Jaden Hunt.
on an edge.
Ricky. Then it'll be Smoothie at 14, I'd say. And then if Wilson's back.
Wilson,
back,
okay.
potentially?
Yeah,
Wilson has been cleared to return as well.
That's a huge in.
that's massive.
That's still big loss. Like Carrigan and Walters.
Yeah.
And also Mam and Selwyn Cobbo.
Who did you say at lock? Kobe, so you said?
I didn't. I said is Wilson on the bench, so maybe Kobe at lock, yeah?
Yeah, right.
Oh, man, that sucks. Because you're going up against a full-strength Penrith side if they beat the Doggies.
Yeah, I mean, not about Billy Walters' replacement.
He's been one of our best players all year. Far out, bro.
He did in the game.
What?
Billy Walters did his ACL in the game and he kept playing. What? I'd love to know what minute. That's actually insane. I mean, it just adds to the win.
Yeah.
A key player doing his ACL, staying out there for the brothers beside him, and they somehow, some way get the win.
Roosters Tigers didn't have that.
Oh, that's good stuff. Can you find what minute if you get a chance, please, Matty?
Yep.
Yeah, Jordan Ricky, I thought it was one of his better games. I mean, again, it was, you could see the Madge influence with Jordan Ricky. In regards to some of the other boys, funnily enough, I actually thought Hunt had quite a poor game. There were moments where I was just like, Hunt's wigging out. Like some of these, the game was on the line. We were trying to get to a field goal, and he was spinning it left to right instead of dropping blokes under and getting to the middle of the field. I'm going, what's happening here? You could even see Payne Haas blowing up at Ben Hunt, going, "What are you doing?" So I don't know what happened there, but look, when they needed him, he nailed it. But I don't know. Yeah, look, I'm stoked as anything, Benny Hunt, with the redemption and everything. But yeah, he was all over the shop at times.
That try you scored down the right wing where you cut out Reece Walsh early in the game was a really nice play. That came from a disaster of a set. You guys were all fucking over the place.
Yeah.
You were rudderless, and then you just, typical Broncos, you just have one tackle.
Somehow, some way.
We'll just pull off the perfect play.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought Benny unfortunately didn't have his best game at all. And just some of the decisions, like the game was on the line and he was just spinning it side to side. And I'm like, let's set up for a field goal, bro. Like, we're just risking constantly and we're getting all that. Anyway, so the good thing is when they needed him, he just, I cannot believe he got that field goal. I thought Tony Staggs, the amount of times we were getting physically dominated by the Raiders, like completely squeezed out of the game. And Ricky Stewart would have been up in his box going, this is what we do. We dominate teams physically. And then Tony Staggs would just get the ball off a scoot, one off the ruck, and somehow, some way find his front to get a quick play of the ball, and it would just change everything.
Yeah, I don't know if it was different just because I was watching him live, but that was as good as I'd seen him all year.
So good.
Unbelievable. He had his most, about 76 post-contact metres, which was his most all year by like a margin. He was ridiculous. He
was so good. Like, we don't go close to winning that game without Staggs in that side. Like, his maturity, especially since Madge has arrived, he seems to have, got the best out of him. Don't get me wrong, he was still great under Walters, but his maturity in this last 12 months is honestly night and day.
Mate, he ran for 205 metres.
As a centre.
As a centre, not known for running big metres.
Just amazing. And had big moments, multiple big moments. He was so good, and I'm glad that... Like, that was the question we always had with Tony Staggs. The talent's all there. Like, we know you can create the highlight reel. If you can just fill this part of your game up, like, there's a chance he gets selected in the Origins Australian squad this year. Like, there's a chance. Yeah. When you look at the centres at the moment, Trell's out, Tommy's out. It really is between Lomax, Bradman Best, and himself, and Matty Burton probably. But
huge chance.
At the moment, you're in a prelim. I wouldn't, and also Kevin Walters is a coach, so obviously that might have a bit of sway. I wouldn't put it past him.
Is he not the incumbent? Was he not there last year? Was that the year before that he played Kangaroos?
I don't think it was last year. It might have been the year before. Unless he chooses to play for Tonga, I'm not sure. But, mate, I just think Tony Staggs' maturity this year, it's been incredible. It's been such a good watch. He's become a senior leader, but he's not just by saying he's a senior leader, not just by being in the meetings, by what he does on the footy field. Like, think about where this Broncos side would be right now if he didn't play this year. There has been so many games that he has just saved our arse. It is unbelievable.
2023. Played for
23.
Kangaroos,
Okay.
Just on Walters, the wording's quite interesting. It's like suffered damage to his ACL, and then the reports are season likely over. So at least he hasn't fully done his ACL.
Okay,
But
so
it still doesn't look like he'll play this year though. But we'll find out.
okay. I thought Corey Jensen once again, because he's in a forward pack with these superstars, he just doesn't get remembered. But he was absolutely phenomenal. We already talked about Payne Haas. Carrigan got through his work. I mean, even having 10 off, he still had 181 metres, 47 post contact, 2 tackle breaks, 43 tackles, only 3 misses. Just an incredible performance for the Brisbane Broncos. Just things, whether you agree with them or disagree with them, didn't seem to go their way, but they somehow, some way found a way.
And also decisions that questionable refereeing decisions and rules of the game that nothing to do with the Brisbane Broncos the way they played their game.
Yeah. So just what an incredible moment. One of the greatest games I've ever watched, and yeah, couldn't be more proud of the team. Absolutely amazing stuff. Now it's just hopefully they can get as many people as possible into the prelim when it comes to injuries, because it's a huge task. But Brisbane at Suncorp, crazier things have happened.
And just final thing before we move on to, just once again, if this weekend, just the standard of footy, if it isn't the greatest example of just why the season's too long.
Oh, yeah, far out.
Like when you compare it to the stuff that's been thrown up over the last 6 or 7 weeks, it was just night and day.
Yeah, mate, I'm with you. I'm on with you. It just in one of those weekends, like, obviously the Warriors game was entertaining for like 60 minutes, but every game was enthralling. Every game you're sitting there going, fuck, this is mad. Yeah. So happy for the boys. A prelim final, yes, obviously it would be great to win. They put themselves in a box position at Suncorp, but that's Michael Maguire's first year. What he has managed, seeing that footage of Michael Maguire in the coach's box, how passionate he is. What an incredible first year for Michael Maguire. Regardless of what happens from here on out, what an incredible first year. I mean, this guy, you go back to his time at the Tigers and everyone was counting him out. And me too. I was like, I'm not a believer. I'm not a match believer. Since that moment, his resume has just gone like directly up. And what I am so excited for Michael Maguire is he's at a club with all the resources in the world, all the money, all the fan base, all the access to young talent in the world. We're going to see how good Michael Maguire can be as a coach. We really are. So what an incredible performance by Michael Maguire. Unbelievable stuff. Okay, it's time to face a bit of music, brought to you by our friends over at Sports.
Just quickly as well, Knights set to appoint Holbrook as their coach.
Okay.
Nice. Best of the options, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so. There's an argument about going someone fresh and new, but I always felt like Holbrook did a pretty good job at the Titans.
Agreed. They cut him loose too early.
Yeah.
All right, just to go over the clashes for this weekend, obviously we've got the grand final qualifier. That's the first one. That's a Matty home game. Denon goes on the road, plays against Matty there. And then we've got the second eliminator. That's a home game for Roo. So,
but I play the winner out of this game, and Matty gets another rest.
The loser of the qualifier will play the winner of the eliminator. And obviously the winner will go straight through to the grand final.
Yeah, so if I lose, I play the winner out of these.
Yeah, but it sounds like you've already given up, mate.
I said if.
Yeah.
What have you got your app open for?
No, you still do your numbers because you've got to do it overall. Yeah, throw them in, mate. Throw them in because we've got an
I
overall.
haven't had enough this show, and you throw that at me.
If there's a salary cap breach or something, he might be back in, so you never know. All right, first game, Saturday, 6 p.m. Oh, Saturday, sorry. It says here Saturday, it is a 6 p.m. game, isn't it? Because they're trying to let the travelling team get home. Pretty sure I saw it great. Anyway, who cares? It's a Saturday game. Canberra Raiders, $1.56 host the Sharks, $2.44. The line is 5.5 in that first final down at Canberra Stadium. So I want to get, obviously, your result, and I would love to get a try score as well.
And our website says 750.
750, okay.
What's crazy is the Raiders they've won 3 from the last 5. The Sharkies 4 from the last 5.
Won 8 from their last 9.
Fuck, this is it. If they don't go 95 minutes, I'm going Raiders every day of the week, but it's at 95 minutes. It's so interesting. Look, I'm going to go Raiders minus 5.5.
I'm going to go Sharkies plus 5.5.
Yeah.
Raiders 1-12.
I'm going to go Raiders 1-12.
I'm a Sharkies plus 5.5 man as well in this instance. And a try scorer for this game?
Oh, fuck, we don't have him here. I'll go. Who's going to be the other edge back row? You reckon Hoskins will start?
Yeah.
He'll start?
Why wouldn't he?
Well, I don't know, mate. Nicholson was the starting one before. I'll go Hosking anytime.
Can I get a Mulatalo double?
You can.
Thank you.
Smoking Joe Tarpany.
He's such a underhanded motherfucker, this guy. Just changing shit up at the back end of the year. Golden points, doubles. It's just a joke, mate.
I just play by the rules you set, mate.
Ronnie.
Yep, Ronnie. I wanted Ronnie as well.
Don't be from Ballarat, mate.
Yeah, we're on your first tip.
Yeah, I'm going to go Ronnie. Stuff it. You've gone for him for 2. I'll take him for 1.
Wow.
Big whoop.
Wow, okay.
All right, then we go to the Dogs. $3.37 will host the Penrith Panthers. $1.33. Line 9.5 points out at Accor Stadium. That one is on Sunday afternoon.
Penrith minus 9.5.
Panthers 1-12.
Panthers 1-12.
270.
Doggies with. Oh no, forgot about the outs. Panthers minus 9.5.
Copycat from Ballarat.
Yeah, I'm going to go Panthers minus 9.5 as well. All right, try scorers.
Who will be? I'll go Liam Martin. Juicy, baby. Juicy. Swinging for the fences here.
Give me Nathan Cleary.
Jacob Preston.
Bronson Sherry.
I will go Casey McLean.
Copycat from Ballarat, bro.
Wait a minute, you didn't have Casey McLean?
I went McLean, didn't I? No, sorry, I didn't. I went Ballarat. I was thinking Casey McLean. I apologize. That's fake. That was a fake. Yeah.
From Ballarat, chat around. Dot your I's and
I
cross your T's.
apologise. That was an inappropriate copycat from Ballarat.
Yeah, right.
I apologise.
How dare you besmirch the people of Ballarat like that?
Oh, that's Space Music brought to you by our friends over at Sportsbet. Anything big coming up
Follow us
soon?
on the feed. There might even be some content being shot immediately after this show.
There you go.
So keep
Stay
your eyes
tuned.
peeled for that.
Award-winning content last week.
Dean Day-Lewis.
There you go.
The
A lot of
range on
range.
the man.
A lot of range. And then the other range was me going into a toilet cubicle.
Yep.
And so it was locked prelim. A few people thought it was other things in the cubicle, which is very disrespectful.
Massively. But great range is the message we're
That's the message. Great range. Alrighty. Make sure to give real follow. SC Playbook. And as usual, we will go and fuck ourselves. Thank you.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.